It already.
Hey, welcome back to Dice Coffee for the second day in a row. I am able to stream this now. So,
Technology.
technology has
Moving up in
improved,
life.
which is more than we like to say for this country. But in any case,
Oh my god.
We
we're
have
back.
improved our rankings.
We're in the top 20.
Third
Yeah.
world represent.
We're,
Whoop whoop.
we're back for the first episode of Dragonsgrave for the month of October. And just like our regular campaigns on Saturdays, we're going to do this with a little bit of a spooky twist somewhere in there. And this has been made much easier since last week, as the Giliaths have made some uneasy alliances, explored some caverns, discovered some information about the past, and generally just trying to find better, easier ways to survive. Mage decided to contact an unknown, mysterious, and enigmatic elder being to recruit him in some form of assistance, whatever that means, regarding some problems and monstrosities that live beneath the caverns just outside of Dragonsgrave. This meeting with the being seems to have frozen time for a bit, as Mage had a private conversation with the patron of her abilities. So, today we begin as the dawn rises on Dragonsgrave, where the sun is barely visible and the sky is just dark as it can be, with a slight hue of light blue from the ice and the cold that fills the air. All of you awaken. What would you all like to do today?
I'll start. I would like to report to Baroness about the thing in the mines.
Okay, let's assume that you've all taken the time to prepare yourselves.
Yeah.
And have
Um,
my soup
Yes.
breakfast.
Baroness, I would like to report that I was suggesting to Rosanna that to have some sort of enchantment just to be safe, that people wouldn't know that it's us that are mining. But unfortunately, it may take 2 weeks for the enchantment and around 7,000 gold. How do you want me to proceed about it?
1,000 gold. How much do we currently have in the family coffer still?
The coffers would amount to about 6,000 gold, the actual coffers, plus the gemstones that you have bought, which would still be within the 25,000 range.
So we have pretty much 30,000. Pretty
Give
much
or take.
30,000. Okay, so if
You
if
will
I'm
have
going to sign up on this budget,
Sorry, I forgot to mention this before. You will have to remember that the gemstones that you have, there's a complication that you mage would understand about having them, like selling them
Mhm.
into money, because you don't just come up with gems like that. You know, they don't just
right,
appear out of nowhere. So, in order to sell them, you'd have to do it little by little and not wholesale.
Oh shit. So money laundering is something also that's needed.
Absolutely.
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 No, it's more like this is clean, technically clean money.
Yeah.
It's just that if you show up to town and sell
Someone's
to a
question.
local jeweler 26,000 gold worth of gems, 25,000 gold worth of gems, there's gonna be eyes on you as to where you got those. If you're trying to be secretive about it, but that's something that you would kind of understand in the back of your head.
Yeah. Yeah, I also like to remind you that as of now, Rosanna and her assistant, they are actually working overtime also. I was there around midnight and they're still working because of the what you call it, the farm things that they have to do also.
Yeah. So the thing with, are you able to ask how long it's going to take before they get the farms in the dungeons up and operational?
I wasn't able to ask, but they say that my request will be available in 2 weeks. So I'm assuming that it's before that.
Okay, 2 weeks. How much gold do I have in my inventory? Hang on.
A few hundreds or up to 1,000, I think. Somewhere in that range.
Because right, okay. Oh, it says here I have 3.
Yeah.
3,000. Yeah. Okay. So between the 3,000 gold pieces I have and the 6,000 left in the coffers, if I do approve of it for the 7,000, how long do you think it would take before we could get our first shipment of mithril in?
You might have to ask Rosanna for a specific. Because the estimate that she gave was based both on the research and development costs, meaning the time and how much material she's gonna have to go through in order to experiment with it, as well as adding in the fact that the time that the things that you are prioritizing is one, the ritual to kind of expand to hasten the breeding of the winter boars. And the other, and if you recall, that will give her like a week where she's useless, where she needs to rest. The other one is generally everything you've been asking for, warding the castle if you still want that. The daylight spell that she's infusing into different mithril orbs to kind of keep your miniature farm going.
Okay.
So it's a matter of what you want her to prioritize.
Indeed, is starting to feel more like work. Either that.
It is.
Are we doing Dungeons and Dragons, or like have I forgot the timeout from the office? You know, like what's going on here? Where's this management shit? Okay, so back to being in character. I suppose if we do have the whole castle warded, it is going to raise eyebrows as warded castle that cannot be scryed is sure to attract the attention of people who wish to scry. So I suppose, dear brother, we can inform Rosanna to forget that.
It was more the warding of your rooms, your individual living quarters, which was the original request.
Those rooms have been warded already.
He does.
Yes.
Oh, we didn't do Tanya
all right.
last time, yeah.
All right, Lord Commander. You can tell Rosanna that she can put the warding for the rest of our rooms on hold first. That should give them a bit of a break too. The farming and the daylight spells and for expediting the breeding of the winter boars. Sorry, there's not much we can do about that. That's needed at the moment. If there's anything you can do to help them expedite that, Lord Commander, go ahead. But after that, you do have my approval to go ahead with is it like a deception spell from what you've described?
Okay. I would like to ask, because the men will be coming in 2 days. Is it 2 days or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
It's 2 days, right?
Yeah, the mine.
Tomorrow.
It's supposed to be
Tomorrow.
miners.
It'll be tomorrow. This is the first day of that 2 days.
Yeah. It's tomorrow.
That means until then, that means until then, Lord Commander, you're going to have to find a way to make do without that spell first.
Okay. I understand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Then I'll just have the dagger going to our blacksmith. I'll be going there.
Okay.
And try to find a way to
Dagger?
fulfill Lucas' request.
Oh, to get him a new dagger.
Yeah, the new dagger. Is it a new dagger, or is there something that he can do
His
with
dagger just kind of lost its edge and is not usable. He just wanted a new dagger.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the blacksmith.
Um, yeah. You do you guys have a blacksmith quarters? Yes, you do.
I don't have a blacksmith.
I'm checking the notes of what you guys have. Yes, you do have a blacksmith. Okay. You're looking at a former member, actually one of the former generals for House Giliath. He is possibly within his 60s when you enter the smithing room. He's not doing it for, for selling purposes. He's doing it as a service to the different guards. Because of the limited number of people within Dragonsgrave, your militia and most of the people who have weapons are also trained in this craft so they could fix their own weapons. But he is the guy who's kind of training everyone. He was the former Lord Commander in his prime. He was above the one you replaced. Basically, he came before the guy you replaced. So he was 2 generations above you. Well into his 60s. A graying man by no means looks like he has... By no means can you say that he is retired. Despite the fact that he is retired, when you look at him, it's sort of like John Wick's retirement. He might be retired, but look at the guy and he might kick your ass, sort of look.
I need to get Tanya to look into that dude.
He's still got...
That's that's a very specific comparison, DM, comparing him to John Wick. Like,
He was, however, Mage. You would know this, Mage. Actually, both of you, being the eldest in the family, both of you would know this. That his name is Karzer Windright, Karzer, and then Windright. Sir Windright, given the highest orders,
determination and sheer fucking will. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. John Wick.
He's a guy that your father, both you and Mage are old enough to know this. He was serving the family when the two of you were kind of still, what's the term? When it was only the two of you who were born. He was in service of the family when the two of you were the only ones that were the children of the Giliaths. Karzer is known for one thing: swinging his giant great sword like it was made of paper. Insurmountable, unusual, and beyond human strength. Your father used to tell both of you stories about how Sir Windright found your father underneath a bunch of boulders and trees in an avalanche, and he lifted the tree by himself off of your father so he could crawl. And given that your father had a few broken bones, it took him a few minutes to actually crawl out of there. So he held a tree that was covered with rocks and boulders by himself for several minutes. Other than that, he stands at about 6'9".
He's human.
Human. He also doesn't have an imposing, Arnold Schwarzenegger type figure. He's actually fairly lean for a guy whose entire history was based, for his entire reputation is founded on his functional strength, and yet he's kind of very lean.
He's
Bulky,
like Gregor. He's like Sander Clegane, like a big dude, not that intimidating, but he'll fuck you up.
But he's not, he's not the mountain. He's not Gregor Clegane kind of gigantic muscles. Yeah. He's very lean. You don't expect this guy. Yeah. You don't expect this guy to be strong, but as you enter his smithing room, just kind of, he looks like he's working some sort of warhammer, molding into shape. Lord Commander.
Yes, Sir Karzer.
To what do I owe the visit?
I promised Lucas that for his service a dagger. Would you have anything special?
Special dagger then. You see behind him an armory of swords. So he just kind of takes one section, pulls out a few knives. This one is made of mithril. It's older. It's not new. I owned it when I was a child.
Hmm.
I've outgrown it, of course, but it hasn't lost its edge, mithril and all, and still gets the job done. Once mithril is forged, it's near impossible for it to lose its edge.
And it's really light, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Also, that's been built rather aerodynamic if you would
Throw it.
need to throw it at someone.
Oh.
And thinned out, given the natural strength of mithril itself. You can afford for the blade to be thinner without the risk of it breaking or snapping.
No, I
He
think
just
this will.
Takes the sword, puts a, you know what the Japanese do, like drop some silk onto the sword and it splits without him moving the knife. And then he hands it to you in his sheath.
Oh,
If you ever find the time, of course, maybe Rosanna or your sister Ida may be able to infuse it with some magic. It is mithril after all. Easily enchantable metal.
hmm. Thank you very much, Carson.
course.
I
Heads
And
back to work. He just hit working on some form of warhammer. Mage.
I think
Yeah, sorry.
just a quick one. I'm gonna ask. Um, do we have paladins that use Warhammer? We have different types, or
Oh,
those are just for
yeah,
emergency.
some
I'm
people
gonna
use
ask.
warhammers. Oh, you're asking him. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him.
Ah, we have a few who prefer the hammer, especially when you're fighting other men in armor. Metal swords don't necessarily go through other metallic armor as well, but when you have a warhammer, you don't necessarily need to aim for any specific part, you just smash the metal they're wearing.
That's why.
Sounds like a civilized weapon.
Thank you very much.
Some
For
of
the
your
information.
warriors require maces, others like hammers. It's personal preference, but it's a good sidearm.
Yeah, I'll just go.
Okay. Mage. As Tristan leaves, about 5 minutes later, there is a knock on your door. And to your surprise, when the person who I'm assuming you let them in. The person who comes in is actually Lucas. Baroness, I came to report. I had awakened myself about 2 hours ago, doing rounds around the tops of the castle walls, looking for anything suspicious. There have been some shadows roaming around the outer perimeters of our keep. Outside the walls. I could not make them out in the darkness. But they
What
were
time was
roaming.
this, Lucas?
I was started my patrol 2 hours ago and had found it perhaps 20 or 30 minutes after that, so give or take 4:30 in the morning.
It's a weird time.
I stayed on the same
I
area.
mean,
I stayed in the same area looking for them, but they never showed again.
very odd time. Very odd time to be attempting to spy on people when everyone is in their bed. It means they're trying to get a layout of the castle. I want you to find my youngest sister. I want you to get on this as soon as possible.
Of course. I had also taken the liberty to, once no activity had happened in the next 10 minutes, I had called for some assistance from the guards to watch over the wall while I took a ride on the outskirts. Find where they were from. Did not find anything, not even left behind tracks. Maybe the snow covered them in the time I took to get there, but I could not find traces of people being there. I shall
Hopefully,
inform
between
them.
you and Tanya, you will be able to find something. If need be, you may also tap the services of Lady Ida.
Very well. He just nods. Some of the guards are still on the walls, awaiting orders to be back to their positions. I left them there for the majority of the night. If you wish for me to tell them that they are relieved, I'm happy to do so.
Thank you then, Lucas. If ever on the way to finding either of my two sisters, if you run into Lord Bane, please tell him to report here. Thank you.
Goes, just runs off. Tanya, on your door, as you just finished preparing yourself, considering you probably wake up the latest.
Mm-hmm.
Master,
Yeah, come in.
I had informed the Baroness of some things I found during my patrol early this morning. Shades or shadows
Yeah?
of people roaming around the forest, about 5 minutes away from the walls on horseback.
Spies.
Perhaps, but from their position there was nothing they could find. I waited there for a few minutes, and then I called some guards to take my position while I took a horse out. Could not find tracks, signs of anyone. Not a trace.
Either they're incompetent or they're distraction. Did Mage say anything about it?
He wanted us to search outside to see if we can find traces of him. Regardless, I did leave a few guards in my post for the night. All possible entrances.
Yeah. I'll just change what I'm wearing and I'll be there.
I'll wait by the exit.
Yeah, sure. I'll be in a minute. Out in a minute.
Mage.
Gonna change my hood.
Yep.
My sneaking attire.
Yep. I'm assuming this is going to be a winter hood, so kind of white instead of black.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mage, a knock on your door again. Baroness, the young Master Lucas told me that you were asking to see me.
Ah, Lord Bane. I presume then that also means that the boy has told you that we may have possibly scrying eyes around the keep.
Yes, although rather unusual. I personally don't know the shades being so both reckless and to stay in the cold for no reason. Seems odd.
The boy has also said that he left some guards on post by the walls where he saw the shades. I suppose if we're going to have any chance of flushing them out, guards on patrol might make it seem that we are on alert. Recall those guards to their barracks, and let's see if the two children can make anything of this.
Very well. Baroness, I was informed by Rosanna about the issues regarding timing of certain enchantments being requested.
Yes, Lord Bane.
Had wished to offer a bit of guidance if you would hear me out.
You may. Fun.
You have 3 elves from the Hazion Kingdom at our disposal, a treasure trove of knowledge, if you will. Perhaps it would be wise to seek their counsel as to how the Hazions even see that parchment of land, if they even know it's there. I personally think that the cost of ensuring some form of safety for something that no one even knows exists may not outweigh the benefit, if in fact no one knows it exists.
That is also true. And there's the fact that we are going to be entering our joint partnership with the Baroness Kiara on this. That's not right.
Yes.
That means that she too will also have a vested interest in making sure it is not found if she is to continue her little archaeological adventures of hers, I take it.
Yes, perhaps it would also be fruitful for us to use a little bit of leverage. We have something the Baroness wants, and she has something that we want. I don't believe negotiation would be pushing our luck with her status.
Well then, Lord Bane, that is a good idea. Alright then. The next time you pass by the wing of the keep where our 3 guests are, please tell them to show themselves here, And if you run into my brother, the Lord Commander, I'll take your advice, Lord Vane. Please tell him, my brother, that I've decided to temporarily put a halt on the project. Let's see if we can find something more cost efficient. I agree.
Very well. He leaves. Ida, you've awakened, and upon kind of exiting your room to get your day started, very early in the morning, you find Tristan going to the arcane halls with going to the arcane library to see Rosanna, and you see Tanya and Lucas kind of on the northern wall about to leave. What would you like to do?
I'm going to research more about the scroll that Mage gave me.
Okay. Make an Arcana check.
Okay. I got a 16.
16. It is an older scroll. It is not usual by any means. This isn't your typical ritualistic casting of things. This isn't a typical scroll. This is something that was very specific, and so specific that it didn't seem to warrant being repeated. The scroll itself is reusable. It's not so much a magic scroll as it is a scroll outlining how to do a certain type of magic that more or less is only useful in very specific circumstances, like the ones you're in right now. Other than that, it doesn't have so much use that it would become a sort of mainstream kind of item or need.
Is it okay if I copy it on my spellbook?
You can, but it's not so much a spell as it is just this sort of. Well, technically it is, but yeah, you can copy it.
Okay. I'm going to do that.
Okay. Tristan, on your way to Rosanna, you are halted by Marcus Bane, the archivist, saying, "Lord Commander, the Baroness has requested that the project regarding the minings be halted temporarily. There is a question on the more efficient manner of doing this. He wishes to consult with the three elves from the Hazion Kingdom before proceeding, just to get a sense of what the kingdom even knows of the lands that we are mining.
Oh.
Also, your sisters are about to take a venture forth, as young Master Lucas has found some odd figures outside in the forest."
Oh, thank you very much, Master Bane. Maybe I'll catch up with them. Yeah, thank you. I'm just gonna try to follow the toilets.
Okay.
But I am going to stealth as soon as we leave the place, so good luck finding us.
So is Lucas.
I'm about to deliver the blade.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. But I am going
And
to
we're
stealth
still
as
inside.
But you are
We're
catching
still
them inside. Yeah.
Yeah, inside.
The two of you, Tanya and Lucas, find Tristan approaching.
Do I see the blade?
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw Lucas, catch. Is it better?
Much better. Thank you.
Where are you guys going?
Looking for spies? Apparently someone has been wandering around early in the morning.
Okay. Want me to help? I'm not really good at looking out for spies, but
Yeah, you're a bit too eye-catching and you're a bit too slow to catch those really quick spies.
yeah. Then good luck to you, my sister. Maybe I'll just find some things. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll
If you
talk
want
to
to be a distraction, though,
you. Made me one last time, and you
when
where
when you
when
left me on a Pegasus, brother, was that my fault?
you made me a
Hey,
distraction.
Was that my fault?
Well,
I'm just going to turn around, like whip my hair and just stomp away.
but be careful, my sister. I'll take a look at our other siblings if they
We
need
will.
help.
We will. Just waving casually while walking away.
Mage, a squire enters your kind of work office. I'm assuming you've left your room to go to your office desk space.
yeah, like my desk. Yep.
A squire enters and says, "Excuse me, Baroness. A raven has come in with a letter for you from Baron. Who was it?" He just looks and says, "Baron Drogus Vondel of Castle Windwake."
Baron Drogus Vandal. Thank you, boy. Yep.
Just kind of bows and leaves. You open the letter and it reads, "Baroness Giliath, I believe we have an appointment set for this evening. I was curious to know if you had still any interest of continuing this. If you do, please send a raven my way, and I shall send you a circle in return for which you may use to transport yourself into my castle.
Yes.
Or if your preference is for me to appear into your castle, inform me as well. Either
Squire is still there, right?
will be acceptable to me." The squire
Alright,
was
then.
waiting to take his leave if you have nothing else, but yeah, he's just there.
Right then, boy. Have a raven sent back to the Baron Drogus. Yes. We will be meeting tonight at his castle.
Of course, Baroness. Just
He'll
kind
be
of,
sending a stone.
he's been writing everything down on a parchment and he just nods and leaves. On the other side of it, you get a sort of message coming through your head. A spell you are familiar with, ascending spell that kind of goes through into your head. It says, "Baroness, I have a question for you. Whenever you're free to answer, I would like to know what you think of the wood elves in Halcyon." And it has Baroness Kiara's very distinct voice.
Ah,
You can reply with 25 words.
funny you should ask. I'd like to think they aren't going to find our little changeling kingdom. What say you, my dear?
Okay. Remember, 25 words or less.
Yeah.
You get a response almost immediately, just saying, "Interesting. I was more curious to know as to why such a large, powerful kingdom could miss such a large piece of land." Thinking out loud. There is a tone.
Can I still reply to that?
Yes, with 25 words, and there is a tone of genuine curiosity and worry to her words. Like she's wary about how they would miss such a large chunk of land in their own kingdom area.
Perhaps they simply forgot. Or perhaps they'd rather not remember. Either way, I'm sure. How many is that? 14?
Yep.
I'm sure time and research should yield a sufficient answer.
You'll get a response after that. Tanya and Lucas, as you guys are
How
about.
long before we can get some lesbian love up in here, DM?
Whoop whoop.
About as long as it takes in real life.
That's
Tanya
true.
and Lucas, as you're about to leave, because the northern gate is a little close to the arcane library, Ida is there. Lucas looks at you, Tanya, and said, the Baroness said that we can request for the Master's assistance should we require it. Looking at Ida.
Ida's reading, right?
She's going, I'm assuming she's heading to the arcane library. Magic and research.
Well, I mean, if it's spies, it's technically our thing. We're not supposed to be caught, so having a Giliath watching with us isn't exactly optimal.
Alright.
Unless she can use invisibility. That's also an option. I can ask. Ada!
What is it?
Apparently someone was stalking us early in the morning. You wanna watch with us, or you wanna stick to your books? Looking distastefully at her books.
Meanwhile,
Are you asking me to
Lucas.
join you guys?
Meanwhile, Lucas is reading a pocketbook. Just
I mean, pocketbooks are fine. There's a difference between studying and reading for fun. But yeah, I'm just gonna look at Ada and say, well, I mean, if you wanna come with, Mage says you can come if you want. Either,
I'm
or you
going
can
to-
study.
I'm going to get a new hat. A safari hat.
so, in place of the wide-rimmed white sun hat with the ribbon there, you see a more lighter brown kind of straw hat-like thing that's got the square top and this sort of string that's stabs to her chin. Sorry, not really. Yeah, light brown and sort of felty material. It's a little shorter rim.
Why do you
I'm
have
ready.
that hat?
I
That
have
won't help in our okay.
I
Okay,
have a
let's-
collection
let's
of
go.
hats. Oh.
To each of his own, I guess. Yeah, let's go. Oh, make sure no one else sees you, though. We wanted to keep it low profile.
Okay.
Can you turn invisible, Master?
She
I
can.
can.
I saw her do it once.
And perhaps ride on the horse with Master Tanya while invisible.
Okay.
How far is the place that we're supposed to go into?
5 minutes on horseback from the wall.
Oh. Yeah, I suppose you can do that.
Nods, goes on his horse. The horses
Do,
that
do I see anyone around us?
no. Well, your
Morphing.
guards, but outside no. Oh, sorry,
If no one's
looking
I
at
am
you.
morphing.
Nah. Okay.
Morphing.
The horses that the Giliaths own are. There's no such thing as a winter horse, but it's as close as you can get to one. They have white fur, and they're basically snow white horses that are regularly cleaned. So they kind of blend with the snow. Lucas is
That's
dressed
perfect.
in pure white leather, pristine, the color of snow itself. If you shined a bit of light on him, it might actually hurt your eyes to look at it because of how white the clothing he's wearing is. He's
I'm just
dressed for
seeing it.
snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Um,
what?
He's dressed for snow combat and stealth. The sheath on his knives and daggers are all painted white. And I'm assuming most of you will have the same thing. The three of
Same.
you,
Yeah, my armor can also morph, so.
the three of
and my
you
hood.
set out.
So Lucas looks like a pimp.
He does.
Yes, but
Jake
with
Peralta
but with a
kind.
white mask. This kind of
I like that boy. God bless him.
He's great.
You guys travel
He
forward
mad though.
as you move through. It's 5 minutes on the horse. At some point, before that point where Lucas kind of found it, he stops the horse and allows you to be seen, allows you to see him, and then he just suggests to walk from here, look around.
Yeah, I'll tie the horse.
Both of you with passive stealths, and Ida's the only one that needs to make a stealth check. Because while you are invisible, you are still stepping on snow and twigs.
Oh. Oh.
But you have advantage for being invisible.
Oh, nice.
I'm assuming you don't have any heavy armor on you.
Yeah, I don't
Stealth check.
remember. Okay, I got a 17.
Fine. You guys are...
Or yeah, that's another one thing.
Snow isn't too thick around here. And there are a few winter animals that kind of walk through that you can mimic the... so you don't leave that heavy footprints. You kind of walk through, moving around. Make an investigation check. Whoever wants to actively look for something.
I'll have my bow next to me and I have a knocked arrow
I'm using Lucas' passive.
ready to shoot. I am taking minimum. So sad.
Taking it.
What's yours?
Investigation. 17. I rolled it too, so that's a 17.
Yep.
Minimum.
It's like tailor made for you.
You guys kind of look.
I like being a rogue because it caters to my shit rolls.
Tanya, even the best of assassins would leave some form of a trail. Something. Even you are aware of the things that you leave behind that you just can't help, like snow footprints. You can't possibly step in the snow without leaving some form of it. And even after a few hours, the snow doesn't automatically fill that in. There will always be some sort of something to track. You don't find anything.
Oh shit.
Do I see Lucas?
He is currently... I had him roll survival actually. He's currently looking at smaller twigs and branches. He goes up to you quietly, just... Master. No broken twigs, branches, disturbed fauna or leaves. But I swear this is where I found them.
Think they can levitate?
Possibly.
They leave no tracks either, so we have to assume what we can.
You see Lucas staring at Dragonsgrave from where he is.
Yeah?
I'm trying to decipher what kind of information they could possibly gain from standing around here. I suppose they could make out a face on the wall, but that's mostly guards.
And I believe anyone can really see from this vantage point, so it's not exactly a very insightful place to sneak in.
This isn't also very well hidden. Unless you're within the tree leaves, any guard worth half his weight in metal will be able to see you. But they want to be seen.
Like I said, they might want to be a distraction or they're incredibly incompetent.
But if they were a distraction, then for what? Nothing happened within the night.
Someone else?
No one entered.
Nothing that we know of.
Perhaps. He looks to the corner, kind of moving away slightly.
Oh look. Where he's
Master,
looking.
make a
Yeah?
perception check when you kind of go in the same direction.
Mother of God, taking minimum again. 24.
24. When you take a look right next to him, like kind of get next to his face or somewhere near him and look in the same general direction. At first you don't see anything, but as he moves away to let you stand where he was standing, and you take a look, you have the oddest view of a dragon skull's eye. The dragon skull that
Shooting.
sits atop your the dragon skull that sits atop your castle, the very top of the castle. You have a view of the eye of that skull. There's nothing in it, but you have
There's
a
a-
perfect view of
oh.
it. There are the windows
Okay.
are obscured. The other windows that you can see are only along the halls. There's really nothing else that seems to be of import other than the dragon skull that you can view from there. Everything else that you would be able to view are castle articulations, the knights that kind of roam around, guards. But the only thing of any form of interest is the dragon skull.
Well, there's that, but everyone around here knows that we slayed a dragon. Isn't exactly that insightful either. Hmm. Odd.
There's no effort to hide it. But doesn't the dragon skull sit atop the middle tower of the keep? The middle tower where
Wait,
the middle watchtower.
so it moved. Or someone moved it.
It's such a relic that's a part of Dragonsgrave. I don't remember exactly. It is where it's supposed to be, but the last time I went south, upon my return, it was pointed a different direction. A little bit. It's moved ever so
May I
slightly.
roll?
Make an insight check.
Sorry.
Yeah, let's call it insight because you already saw the skull.
26.
He makes a point. You kind of think to yourself, when you guys went south to go to Frost Garden, on your way back, just passively, you would see the dragon skull. It was always meant to be looking right into the capital of Azram. That's where that's where the direction of the skull has always been pointed. It was supposed to be a marker. It was supposed to be a remembrance of what they did, and sort of a display that you're not going to break us. We killed this thing. That sort of sends a message. It's been moved ever so slightly because Azram is southeast of Dragonsgrave. So it's like that direction. This thing has been tilted ever so closely more to the south.
Who has access to that? Is there a entry point where we can actually access that skull?
It sits
it's
atop
hung?
the central watchtower. Anyone could have access to it who can go up to the central watchtower, so most of your knights. But to move it would require significant manpower, or how you guys put it up there, which is magic. Lifting it.
Well, that's odd. You're right. It's tilted to the south. Huh.
It's a small change.
Is it worth?
Ida, what have you been doing around this area? You have heard their conversations, by the way.
Can I roll for history about dragon skull thing?
Theory of dragon skulls?
I'm sorry.
What do you want to know?
Yung history lang about it.
If you're longing for the history of that dragon skull, it's your history. as
Oh.
the Giliaths. You guys killed. That's the dragon you and your father killed. You and your family killed.
Mm,
So, as far as history goes, that's your history. You guys killed it. It fell. You skinned it alive, and in honor of your family, and to kind of give a fuck you to the guilds, so to speak, just kind of put the skull there that always points in the direction of Azram. When you hear their conversation and you take a look hard enough, you do realize it's also pointing south, which is not the appropriate direction of which it should be pointing.
I'm going to approach Tanya and whisper to her, it might be haunted.
There's no such thing as ghosts, Ida.
What
Or
if?
at least I don't think there are.
Huh.
The only ghosts in this world are the ones who stood Ida up on their previous dates.
Oh, shit! Bitch!
What the?
Oh, you're an asshole!
Two handsome
You can hear it
men.
screaming from the tower.
You,
Those
invent-
are the only ghosts.
you invented the term.
Those
Ghost
are
thing.
the only ghosts that made seas around here. Like,
He invented the term ghosting.
yeah.
Necromeda. Oh god, that's horrible.
Really horrible.
Lucas just kind of tugs on your shoulder without looking at you, Tanya. Master? Elves are approaching.
Elves? Elves?
Self-check. Well, Lucas is disappearing.
Stealthing.
I will take his minimum, thank you.
I am taking my minimum as well. 27.
Okay.
Do I have to stealth it?
You don't need to, as long as you don't move, because you're still invisible.
Okay, I won't move.
They can, you see Lucas kind of jump on top of a branch and get inside a tree, while Tanya kind of buries herself in the snow with her eyes out, able to see. You are just standing there, very still, and standing on top of a few tree roots, so that you don't leave too many footprints in the snow. There is an. They don't look like they're. They don't look like they're warriors, or they don't look like military. They look like scouts. They're kind of going around. They end up reaching the same area that you're in. Dangerously close, however, not exactly within Azram's borders, because the border literally ends with Dragonsgrave. So they're just there. Make what Tanya's passive perception is high enough. Ida, if you want to hear it, make a perception check.
Mhm.
And what's your passive
Okay.
perception?
Oh, let me check.
Roll to see if they can see anyone. Nope.
My... Wait, I can't scroll. I can't even scroll my phone. Sorry. I think it's 13.
Just make a perception check. If
Okay.
you want to hear it.
Okay. I know, hindi pala, it's 21. Sorry, she has observant
21.
Observant.
Then you don't have to roll.
Yeah.
The three of you don't need to roll. As you stay there, you can hear the elves kind of talking. Does anyone speak Elvish? I forgot to ask that. You speak Elvish. Ida, you do not?
Wait, I'm going to check it again. I can
Anyways,
speak
just hold on to it. But for the
Mhm.
ones who speak Elvish, you can hear them kind of just talking to each other and saying, "We're dangerously close to Dragonsgrave. We shouldn't be here. Like something is going on, and we need to find out. We're too close to their borders. They might shoot us down. We are not at their borders. They are the border. We should be fine here. This is still our territory from this point. Why are we even this far out? Something is happening around here, and it has to do with those caverns. You know the stories. Howling caverns, no one survives going in there. I know, but caverns do not belong to any one kingdom, so to speak. This is still territory considered neutral, like the entire Iceshard Mountains. I don't understand why you are so adamant about going there or investigating this place. Because my brother is missing, and I will find him. You are free to go home if you want, but I will continue this. I can't leave you behind to get yourself killed. Then let's go. And they make their way to the caverns. The three of you, given your passive perceptions, I was just giving you some time to say if you're going to interrupt them. But as they head towards the entrance of the caverns where Ida was, where Ida had gone to, remember that the caverns are about, give or take, a few hours away from the wall. They did say they're heading to the caverns. They're not heading to that entrance you went to. They're heading towards the mountain.
Oh. Oh, and I can understand Elvish pala.
Okay. Then you understand what they said. They're heading towards the mountain. Tanya, Ida, none of you know. All of you know that the entrance to the caverns is about 2 hours away, across the mountains. They're heading towards the side of the mountain closest to your castle. At the side of the mountain, they're just kind of moving out some snow and digging through. And eventually they find this odd looking rune on it.
Yes.
They just nod. One of them speaks a little bit. You can see them, but they're a little further away for you to actually hear what they're saying anymore.
I
With the howling
can
winds.
read their
Yeah, but his back is to you
mouths.
because they're looking at the mountains. You're coming
Okay.
from behind them.
Okay.
But he does open up a scroll and starts reading something. The runes light up. And the mountain sort of morphs into an entrance. They just look at each other and they go in, and the mountain, and you see the snow fall down on it again to cover up the mountain once more. Lucas just looks as he climbs down from the tree. That is a new entrance.
That it
Maybe a
is.
safer one.
It's a magic entrance. Those don't exist unless you intend to put them there.
Can I investigate the entrance, see how long that has been there?
You can go up to it and kind of clean the snow, make an investigation check.
Yeah, I'm going to
Just
do
making sure
the
that I don't
same.
look like me.
Make an investigation check. Tanya, you can have
So I rolled the
advantage.
10. Oh, okay.
Or Lucas helping.
1 point higher. I got an 18.
18.
I got a 14.
The two of you looking through this cave entrance. It's the mountain. It's always been there. The entrance itself, there's no remnants of that kind of opening that it came. As it closed, it sort of melded back as a singular piece. The runes themselves, you can't tell how old they are, but they are not carved into the mountain. They just, if you burn rock and scorch lettering on it, that's what it looks like. Like they're scorched there, and they look like scorched rock that's been carved into runes.
Can I read the
Information.
runes?
They are. Anyone happen to speak Undercommon?
Yeah, I can. I mean, oh yeah, I can.
Okay.
Celestial, Undercommon, Elvish.
Okay. The runes do not necessarily read like a full language, but translating it a little bit. It basically just says it the runes themselves do not necessarily translate into a direct language, but the best that you can decipher is they mention something about a graveyard. Hollow graves.
I'm going to say hollow grave. What does that mean?
Graves that are consecrated are hollow graves.
Oh.
Well, Tristan's gonna have a fun day here.
Do you know how to open it, Master Ida?
I can try.
Are we really going to with them inside?
I mean, I would have only liked to know if we can open it, not actually go in. If we know how to open it, perhaps we can learn how to close it.
Can I use Arcana check?
Make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Maybe, but we should probably wait for a bit. The elves might still be in the entrance. It's not good to alarm them that someone else can access the entrance.
I got an 18 for Arcana.
This is old. Fairly old. Can look at the runes, and when it comes to runic arcane languages, they usually have this sort of pattern that indicates a school of magic. For example, the same word will have a slight differentiation to the rune. Nothing that differs in terms of how you read the language, but like a slightly different curve or an excess kind of circle. But each of these differences represents school of magic. These runes are written with the conjuration school of magic kind of variant of the rune. The best you can tell is maybe a conjuration magic might open it. You think?
I'm going through my spell book.
Master Tanya's correct. We probably shouldn't
Ada?
open it.
Yeah.
I was merely inquiring if we could.
The elves might find out.
It's possible through conjuration magic, but I don't really know what kind of... Well, what specific spell it is. At least we have a clue on how to open it.
Well, can I draw the rune?
Yes. You can draw it on some parchment.
Going to draw it really quickly.
While you're all...
We can report it back to Mage. I mean, we didn't find anything about the shadows, but there's this.
That's a good segue. While you're all discussing this, Lucas immediately turns his head with a crossbow, with his hand crossbow drawn.
Grabbing my knocking immediately, instinctively.
You also saw the same thing that he saw. Corner of the eye, something was moving. Master, did you see that?
Yeah.
I can't hear anything.
Why would someone stealth in black in the middle of the snow?
There's a gust of wind. And then it gets stronger. And as it strengthens, it blurs the vision a bit. And as it kind of gets even stronger, it carries a little bit of the snow in the winter air such that your vision becomes blue. And then colder. And for a second, you're blinded by the wind that is... The wind stops you.
What do I see?
Nothing. Ida, can you mute? It's the
Oh,
whatever aircon
sorry.
is really loud.
Okay.
There's a as the wind passes. You don't see anything. You can see Lucas puts on his winter goggles just to stop, but when the wind kind of passed through, it's not so much the harshness of the wind on your eyes, but it is the bluish cold and frost kind of brings a fog with the wind that blocks your vision.
Can I find a higher vantage point?
A tree. Make an acrobatics check if you want to backflip on a tree.
Doing it as fast as I can.
Lucas
And I'm
does,
using minimum.
Lucas doesn't have a problem.
That's
Just
like acrobatics.
Yep.
21.
okay. You're on the tree. Next to you,
Just knocking my
on
arrow
the-
knock and just keeping an eye out.
well, you've got your arrow knocked up. In the corner of your eye, you see a bow and arrow drawn, not pointed at you, but pointing in the same direction you're pointing at. Kind of in your peripheral. Someone's next to
Do
you.
I see anyone?
You turn. No one's there.
No, was something in that soup? Just gonna go back to finding the shadow.
You stand there. When you look away, back in your peripheral, just in this corner of your eye, that small little arrow that's pointing the same direction you're pointing it in.
Lucas, look at me. Is anyone standing next to me?
No, Master. You can see as Lucas points his hand crossbow, his other hand has another crossbow moving very slowly. Notice him as he an arrow flies through the tree. He reloads the arrow, not looking back.
Can I use my third eye just to see if there's anyone or anything that's invisible? It's for one day.
Increase the third eye.
Yeah, class speed.
Choose one of the following benefits: dark vision. Oh, to see invisibility. Okay. Yeah. There's nothing invisible around. You don't see anything
Can I-
invisible.
Take my... Oh. What is that one again? Arrow?
Or
I'm going to use the spring arrow. Then
okay,
I'm going to gently nudge it on the tree that I'm standing on.
okay. You're gonna cast it there. Check what
The
is
tree that I'm standing on right now.
spring. 1 sec.
It awakens the tree, gives it an intelligence of 10.
Ah, so you can speak to it. Okay. Beneath the tree, the wood opens up. Why would you
Good morning.
poke me?
Sorry, I needed to wake you up.
What do you want?
Do you happen to see anyone skulking around in this place recently?
There's you. There's him.
Yes, that's a given. That's a given.
That is all.
So no shadows, no nothing?
No. No shadows.
Would you mind keeping an eye and tell me if you see any more of those shadows? If you do see shadows.
There's one. Sorry, did you say intelligence 10?
What?
What's his intelligence?
10.
10.
10. Intelligence of 10.
I don't know if you're lagging or I am, but he just points his branch.
Okay.
He's pointing on a branch. He's pointing on the shadow being cast by another tree.
Human, buddy. Human looking shadow. I'm gonna tap the trunk gently.
On your left.
Not ours, buddy. Not ours. Just think of us. Don't ignore us.
Don't
Look for anything else other than us.
And he points a branch.
Do I see?
You look at the direction, roughly the vague direction of where he pointed the branch that you're standing on. You kind of take a look in that direction. You find a group of people. From this distance, you can't really tell if they're elves, but they're humanoid, human-looking. They are cold, and you've seen people at death's door before, especially in this weather. There's 3 of them. 3. One of them looks like a woman. The other one, as they walk,
Ada?
collapses.
Yeah.
They just gather him. They just kind of.
I'll see if I can approach, but I'll morph my form so they don't recognize.
Okay. You're approaching them?
Just completely different again.
Lucas has his hand crossbows drawn just in case. You approach.
Absolutely, yeah.
As you approach, they're helping that one guy who fell down. And then when they see you, they just. Not here. We're not here. We're not here to harm. You're not here to kill us.
No. I mean, it's one of me and 3 of you, so it's not exactly a good fight.
The closer
For me.
The closer you look at them, you realize they're malnourished and unarmed.
Oh, human?
Yeah.
Yeah, so why are you skulking around this place? Have you been skulking here for a while?
No. Skulking. We're not skulking. We're escaping.
What? Escaping what?
I'm sorry, but whose territory are we on right now?
I'm gonna point at our castle. Dragonsgrave?
That's ominous. I don't think I recognize that castle. No, I don't. I've never seen it before.
Where do you live?
Brigia. Brigia would be.
Excuse me, what?
Brigia would be the kingdom directly left of Hazion. The one of 2 kingdoms that are on the other side of the Iceshard Mountains. So you got Hazion on the right, which is where you guys border, and then there's Brigia, all the way to the west of that.
Is it a human content? Is it a human country?
No, it is not. Brigia is a kingdom of Brigia is a kingdom of Tabaxi.
Tabaxi?
What? They have their own kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna look at him and say, what are humans doing in Brigia?
Being imprisoned.
Oh,
We escaped.
I'm gonna look to see if they're being chased.
Passive perception is enough. No one's kind of following them.
Well, congratulations on escaping, I guess. I'm just gonna grab like a few jerkies and give it to them.
They just eat it.
I'm gonna look at Ada's direction and Lucas's and just I'm gonna do that.
Are you part of them? Are you from there?
You can say that. One of our workers. I was sent to scout this place.
Is it human? Are most people human there? Is it possible to
Yep.
travel through? We won't stay, we won't look at anything. You want to blindfold us, go ahead, but can we just travel through?
I'll just consult with a few people, but for now you just stay there. Try not to attract attention to yourself and I'll be back.
They just kind of stay hiding behind a large tree.
Just gonna waddle back to Ada.
It would be a plus if they can farm.
Look at those farmers. Look at them farmers.
But yeah, human prisoners from another country, the backseat. Don't know the politics. Can't tell if it's gonna be a pain in the ass, but they are asking for passage.
Yeah.
But the backseat generally like to live alone. They don't bother with everyone else. If
Why
they were
would
in
they
prison,
imprison human?
exactly. If they were in prison, they must have done something. Or they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. That also happens. They don't
Well,
look like much,
we can
however.
just- Yeah, I can punch one out and they'd probably... And I don't punch really that strong, so...
See Lucas
You can
just
Maybe they
just...
fire a
something
crossbow.
from them.
Lucas
Where?
turns around, fires a crossbow at the tree.
Oh.
Reloads it. There is something here, I can swear it. And you also see something walking in the corners of your eyes.
I'm going to corner like away from me.
Away from you, but you just see it moving, but away, not towards you, not towards anyone.
I'll grab my arrow full of thorns, shoot it at that direction.
This large vine of thorns as the three can get scared because they just see this large vine of thorns. Nothing gets entangled in it. Well, you kill an elk. That matters. Just
Oh, free meal.
Yep, but no one human gets caught.
I think I just saw an elk. Well, I could have sworn it was human.
Master, perhaps we need to return.
We need to?
Perhaps we need to return. If they're getting past our vision, perhaps they've made their way to the castle.
That's true.
What about the escapees?
Tie him up, blindfold, then we can bring them in a dungeon. Well, but dungeon might not be a good idea because they just came from a dungeon, so
Tie them up. Gag them. Blind them.
Very well. Moves forward. This is for safety precautions. Bags them all free. Come on. You guys head back to your horse and move.
Mhm.
You're gonna have to move at a slower pace, so it takes you about 10-15 minutes, like walking pace with them. Get back through. While all that has been happening, Mage, you have received a reply from Baron Drogus with a magic circle inscription on the paper, as well as the note. I will see you here then, Baroness. Bring whatever men you feel is appropriate as security.
Alright, okay.
Along the day,
Alright then.
Along the day, other than the reply, you receive a note again from Kiara, just kind of telling you a note this time, a raven sent to you. Unusually fast, even for a raven. But it reads, Might my Arcanist Argos have a word with you?
Hmm. Um, can I be the one to write it?
Yeah.
Right in the
But
spot?
also,
Yeah.
the raven was not sent by a squire. It is a sort of oddly dark raven that's just knocking on your window.
Right. I'll just take the piece of paper, right? Right in the back of it, of course, and I'll just like roll it up, tie it to the raven's foot, presumably, and send it off.
Raven just kind of flies and suddenly just kind of disappears from sight. Minutes later, there is a kind of wind that enters your room or your office, and eventually you are reported by a squire that, Master, Martinez, the Arcanist Argos is here from the teleportation circle, claiming he had permission to use it.
Send him in.
Leaves. 5-10 minutes later, Argos comes in with a few knights kind of guarding him. Baroness.
Lord Argos.
Baroness,
To what do I owe this pleasure?
Baroness Chiaro was meant to arrive here herself. However, there seems to be some trouble in our fortress at the moment. She had sent
Everything
me.
all right?
Perhaps. She had sent me to request information, or rather, inquire about it. Has your group experienced some anomalies lately?
If by anomalies you mean if by anomalies you mean reports of strange shadows that lurking beyond the keep perimeter, yes. We've been experiencing the same thing.
Then it plagues your kingdom as well.
I suspect, Lord Argos, there's something else you wish to share.
I would like to say yes, Baroness. However, I was merely sent here to inquire. I'm sure you've heard the rumors of the castle that the Baroness Chiara keeps. Rumors of hauntings and such. Castle Nightwind is well known for its ghost stories, if you will. However, these occurrences are not of the norm, as they would say. I was sent here to gather information to see if it is something the spirits of Nightwind have decided to pull, or if this was afflicting anyone else, given the newfound friendship between our baronies. The Baroness saw it fit for me to ask you first, given that it is also afflicting your lands. It must mean that something is doing this. It is not just a quirk of our land, as it normally is.
If I might ask, if it is not, of course, confidential, what the Baroness Chiara has been doing about these sightings.
Of course, the Baroness has sent out quite the regiment of personal guards to inspect. Reports have been the same. There were guards that reported seeing strange occurrences in shadows at the corners of their eyes, misfiring their crossbows, drawing their swords at nothing. It caused quite a commotion. All of it were also the same. They were outside the perimeters of the castle. The Baroness thought that this might be a distraction, something to keep the forces out while something gets in. As such, she had fortified the insides of the castle, and is now personally patrolling them herself.
Just just so happens, Lord Argos, that later this evening rather, I will be visiting Lord Drogus. I will be asking them to see if anything plagues their castles as well. I will share this information with you if ever I get anything interesting.
Yes, I would be very much appreciative of it. Um, if it's not too much to ask, Baroness, might I stay by your castle walls, wherever you find of least risk for one like me to stay in? I will not request to see any halls. You may blindfold me on the way to the walls. I simply wish to stay where you may have spotted these shadows, as it were, just to get a visible pattern if it is comparable to what is happening in Nightwind.
Is the Squire DM still here? The one who showed him in?
Yep. Unless you dismissed him for a private meeting. Otherwise, he should stay.
I didn't. It's
Then
all
you
right.
say.
Very well then, Lord Argus. I've sent my siblings on. I've sent my siblings on a little to do a little detective work on the outskirts of the castle perimeter. As soon as they get back, one of my charges, since I don't want to use the word assassins outright about Lucas, one of my charges knows exactly where the shadows were sighted. I believe he was the one who spotted them personally. You may show yourself there with his assistance. Take all of the research you need.
Thank you, Baroness. Also,
Of course.
Baroness Chiara also wanted me to deliver an extra message. She would like for a joint research endeavor on this changeling kingdom that's been uncovered.
Joint research.
Of the mystical sort. Baroness has also explained her lack of need for the mines or whatever you might find there, but she would like to be directly involved in a research endeavor regarding the magics that the changelings may have held once before, if you are willing to join her on that expedition. Some arcanists from Nightwind will be sent there, and you are welcome to send whoever you see fit to accompany them.
Very well then. I will discuss that among my own siblings. And I suppose you can tell the Baroness Chiara that the technicality seem to be something I would estimate that would probably be most appropriate discussed with her over dinner, maybe some wine.
I shall inform her.
When do you?
I shall send her a quick message, and I shall inform you before my departure of when such an occurrence is to happen.
And if ever, Lord Argus, you find anything about these shadows or these sightings while you're here, please don't hesitate to share them at once.
Of course, I will be archiving all my findings and either send it to you or your lovely archivist. Thank you.
Lord Bane is many things, but I would not call him lovely. Thank you.
As he leaves, the knights he just looks at the knights escort him where it's at that point that Tanya and Ida and Lucas eventually get back, and you see the High Wizard or the Arcanist Argos from Nightwind being escorted by guards to the top of the wall where Lucas was staying. He does, however, stop and look at Lucas and says, "Are you the charge Baroness Giliath was mentioning? The one that saw the shadows? Might I have a word with you as to where you saw them?" Kind of moves, looks at you guys, looks at you, Tanya, and nods. As he leads with the knights, he leads the Arcanist with the knights to the top of the wall. Where are you two heading?
Where did we leave the three?
The three, they're still blindfolded actually, on a horse. One of the knights will ask you, so, what are we to do with these
Keep an eye on them. Make sure they don't run. Make sure they don't speak. They don't say anything. And hide them from the archivist. Kind of, kind of sketchy.
Very well. You just kind of push the people, complying. Tanya, what do you do?
Going to go to mage.
Okay. In the middle of Mage's paperwork, I'm assuming you also don't know how to knock.
Oh no, I knock because it's precautions because someone might be talking with her and yeah.
Okay. Mage, knock on the door.
Enter.
Baroness, I'm gonna go in.
Dear sister.
When I see no one inside, I'm just gonna barge in. Hey.
Go. Thank you for honoring formalities.
I try.
I see at least someone here has some concept of manners. Yes, dearest sister. Anything you'd like to share? Did you find anything interesting for me?
Ida's following
It's
behind.
more
By the
of
way.
a precaution because you had a visitor. You never know. You might be dating that Baroness girl inside, and might want some private time together. I really don't want to barge in whatever you're gonna do. So
It's a very
yeah.
that's a very tall accusation you make there. Perhaps you have any evidence to justify such slander.
Maybe the wink wink and the nudge nudge back when you were talking is enough as a proof.
Right. I wink and nudge nudge to a lot of the tower guards. You don't see me sleeping with them. Sounded wrong. Forget I said
That's
that.
true, but
You want something to report?
that does sound wrong. That does sound wrong, Mage. Just no. But anyway,
Yes. I have standards. Yes. Anyway, yes. Please go on.
we have standards.
I have standards.
Well, we didn't see much about the shadows. We did see hallucinations, but I can't really tell much what that was. We found a few elves going inside an entrance of the cave, or cavern as they call it. Ada knows more about the magical thing. I don't really know much about that. And we have 3 refugees.
Refugees?
The head.
Mm-hmm. We kind of
Tell me
found
more
them
about the
staggering about 3 of them. One is a woman. They're all very malnourished. They seem to have escaped from
Brigia.
Brigia?
Yeah. Brigia.
We kind of brought them in, gagged them, blindfolded them, tied them. And the knights took care of where they're gonna hide. Oh! And I can't really tell. Did you have the skull moved recently?
I didn't actually. What about it?
It's slightly tilted to the south now. I don't know.
The
Odd.
south?
Yeah, you want to check it out? It's kind of out of
To the
place.
south? How far to the south?
Just a bit. Not that significant of a change, but it's still a bit noticeable.
Enough
Pull
that
out a map.
it's enough that it's no longer pointing at Azram.
Yeah, I thought so. I'll pull out a map from my desk.
Mm-hmm.
What? So what is a little, what's in that direction?
Azram is not southeast, southwest of Dragonsgrave. Directly south would be Castle Windwake.
Windwake. Baron who?
That would be Drogus.
Oh, yes. Well, it so happens that I have and then I'm just going to think out loud with Tanya and Ida there. I believe she's there with us, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
If it's pointing straight south, those are Baron Drogus' lands. I'll see if he has anything. I'll see if he had anything to do with it. Thank you. You mentioned second point is the elves. They went into the caverns. Certain death. Certain death.
That's great.
Yeah. I'm gonna show the rune that I drew.
We didn't use the conventional
Okay.
entrance.
Mhm.
DM, is there like anything that I can discern about the rune?
You have Eyes of the Runekeeper, which means you can read the language directly saying Hollow Grave.
And it's in the caverns, you say?
It's on the
They call it the
mountainside,
caverns.
5 minutes away from you. It opens up into an entrance. And yeah, they call it the caverns.
It's 2 hours away from the caverns. Might be a new place.
Not the entrance that you guys know of.
What could be down there? Did you hear anything about what the elves might have wanted down there?
I'm gonna look at Ada. While I'm eating grapes.
What? One of the elves was looking for a brother.
Yeah. One of the elves are looking for his brother. He's been missing for I don't know actually how many days he was missing, but yeah.
Okay.
And then we tried to I tried to read the runes, and it says Hollow's Grave.
Hollow Grave.
Hollow Grave. They might went to Hollow Grave. Maybe.
That's not a location. That's a term.
The only way we can enter that portal is a conjuration spell, and I honestly don't know what the specific spell it is.
Let's see.
Mage is deep in thought and has started talking to his patron again.
I'm just finishing the grapes in her room.
Sorry about that. So I'm just looking at both of them. Who wants the unenviable task of going back there? How did you told me this information?
I mean, what exactly do you want us to do there? Because if you want me to open the portal, I can't.
Right. Do you think those elves would still be there?
Probably. Hasn't been a while. It's only been a few minutes since we got here. Got back here.
As you're having this meeting, interrupting it, Tristan, you notice that some of your knights, as you're doing your patrols, have drawn their blades, like they attacked something that they saw, and then as you're about to approach the guy, some other knights, and they now have crossbows open, and you can see some of the knights, the higher ranking ones, just saying, "Formations, formations!" and they start maneuvering into this sort of circular shield wall. And they
What's
start attacking.
happening? Is this because of my stupid low perception, by the way?
No.
Okay.
No. As you ask this, as you kind of ask them what's happening, you also just catch the corner of your eye. There's something moving very close to you, but not towards you.
Okay.
But they're all looking at all random directions. They can barely keep the shield wall together because they're all claiming they see something in different directions as they just
Stand down, men. Stand down. I'm looking where's the Arcanist is.
He's on the top of the wall, and he is observing the knights that are there, who are also randomly drawing their blades.
Yes, I'm just gonna say, I mean, just stay alert. Just stay alert. I'm gonna approach Arcanist.
Yep. Argos stands there just... I see, it's the same problem then. Lord Commander.
Yes.
You face the same affliction that Nightwind faces. As I have told your Baroness, we have been experiencing similar problems with these shadow entities that cannot see directly, but are able to move. It's rather concerning.
What are your initial findings on this? Are these just illusions? Seems like it.
Very well hidden illusions if they are. They only appear in the corner of your eye and then disappear. It resembles
noticed it too.
something. If there were... Are you aware of shifters, Lord Commander?
No. Can you explain more?
It's a rumor. Never been proven. But shifters are remnants of magic. They're similar to specters in a way, except instead of fallen people or the dead, the shifters are spectral images produced by remnants of powerful magic. They're often drawn to a place of great power. They move in a similar manner. Shifters are often considered to be impossible to see, at least directly. They're always at the corner of your eye, but the moment you look, they're not there. They're harmless in general. They can't do anything. In fact, the only things that shifters do is head over to the nearest source of arcane power. You can see him shifting around his head, kind of looking, and you also have you're not necessarily doing it unless you think your character would, but your character is seeing things at the corner of his eye moving that kind of attract attention because especially on high
now
alert.
that we're aware, right? Okay.
I need to inform you, Baroness. You're welcome to join me for more information.
Yes. DM meta question. Would I know what is the most powerful source of magic in our keep?
Around your area? Whose background is that? With the ambulance?
Mine's on.
Around
in our place.
Around your area? In Dragonsgrave.
Dragonsgrave.
Ida, Rosanna, that artifact you have.
Oh.
The artifact you have is an unnatural power source. Made of
Okay.
pure magic.
But mage is not, right? Mage is not arcane.
She is.
Oh, she is also.
She has a lot of arcane power gifted by a very powerful being.
Okay. I'm gonna ask. Once I know that they are attracted by very powerful arcane magic, do they possess those people or what do they do?
No,
When they go near them?
they're absorbed by it. Shifters are not spirits or any sort of sentient undead creature. Shifters are just remnants of magic that take the form of the fallen, the dead, perhaps fallen spellcasters. The shifters would often just find a source of magic and apply themselves to it. Arcana gets attracted by Arcana. That is the only case. My concern is the power that they are attracted to.
Can I do divine sense now?
Yeah.
With something. Yeah, I'll just cast divine sense.
Fiendish, celestial, undead, or the sort. There's nothing here. There's no spirits or undead. Other than the dragon's skull, but that's not undead. It's just a skull. So.
Okay. And we go to Mage.
Mage, entering your chambers or your working quarters are Tristan and the Arcanist, while Tanya and Ida are still there. Well, in the middle of your discussion, Baroness, I am sorry to interrupt. He just bows at all of you. I have a theory that I cannot prove as of yet, but There are spectral remnants of magic used called shifters. These sort of entities created by remnants of magic that are not spirits or ghosts of any kind, no real sentience to speak of. They are just passing along. They are attracted to arcane power, large amounts of arcane power. That is my guess. However, as I've told you, Lord Commander, the shifters follow the routine that all your soldiers and all the soldiers of Nightwind seem to be following. Only visible to the corner of the eye. Once you take a look at them, they are no longer there. My concern is not the shifters, as they will dissipate eventually. My concern is what has awakened them and where they are going. Shifters are often attracted to large sources of arcane.
Presumably, I suppose the first question that needs to be asked are like all of my siblings here.
Yes.
I suppose the first question that needs to be asked is even for someone like Baroness Kiara to suddenly have this problem, and I think we can be frank with each other, Lord Argus, she is no stranger to large amounts of arcane power.
Yes.
Why now, right? Why now?
It should be mentioned, of course. Again, shifters have commonly been a myth. They're not exactly treated as hard facts, but it has been mentioned a few times in different books. Depending on what you read, you find something else. But there's one mention that shifters are not so much attracted to the raw, are not so much attracted to arcane power from individuals or items, but rather raw, concentrated arcane energy. So nothing of enchantment sorts or people of power in themselves, but something that's raw and unprocessed, untouched and untapped. And these are all speculation. I would not ask you to waste your resources looking for something that may not exist, but if you are curious, there's always a way to map out the shifter's direction. You only see them in your peripheral, so you will have to pay extra close attention to the direction they are heading without actually looking at them. Eventually, you'll be able to map out a certain direction. Baroness, there was one other thing I want to ask you before I take my leave to report to Baroness Kiara. The dragon skull that you hold atop your tower. Last time I was here, and as far as I can remember, your family had made the decision to position that skull pointing to Azram. Did you not?
Yes. Insightful of you, yes. We've been having that exact problem. Now it appears to be pointing south to Baron Drogus' lands. Quite interesting, don't you think?
I would like to know myself, as there is a small item we place on top our towers. Sentry wards, if you will. Just to warn us, early warning to see if anyone is approaching. The wards are generally pointed in certain directions to cover most of the 8 directions and a wide range. Before I had left Nightwind, all of them were pointing westward, also to the lands of Baron Drogus.
Ah. Interesting. As I mentioned, I will be having dinner with him tonight. I suppose I could bring it up. As mentioned, I will be sure to let you and Baroness Karen know if ever I uncover anything. It's been a very interesting day.
It is much
We
appreciated.
also, Lord Drogat.
Yes.
Also, Lord
Argos.
there is one thing, and then I'm going to look at Tanya.
Yes.
The rune
What big in your mouth?
Yeah.
Tanya eating grapes.
No,
You just kind of look.
Forgive my
she stopped eating when she arrived, but she still has the grapes in her mouth. But she's gonna show
Forgive
you.
my sister. She is nobility, but she is young Lord Argos.
Yes, it's perfectly all right. Hollowed grave.
Yes,
That's
my sister.
alarming.
Sister and her charges reported they saw band of elves on the way and some sort of secret passage into the Iceshard Mountains. I thought that you should know this as well.
By that, I assume you mean a passage other than the hollowed
Yes.
caverns.
Yes.
And it is written in Undercommon. That does not bode well. I shall look into this. We are at the edge of the Iceshard Mountains. If I find anything, I shall send you a note. Word of advice, if I may, Baroness, when meeting with Baron Drogus.
Yes.
Perhaps exercise caution in how you question him. Baron Drogus is not known for his patience.
Of course. Also, Lord Argos, there is one more thing. I was hoping perhaps you could enlighten me, background as you are and under your employer such as she is. And then DM, I'm going to pull out the golden scepter.
Takes it. Curious, might I ask where you see this?
I would love to, Lord Argos. However, I'm sure you are aware of women of my background, and I am sure that even if I attempted to explain where that came from, but the languages would fail me.
I understand. What were you looking to find out?
What it does, Lord Argos, if you've ever uncovered any of these come across such items before with more eldritch origins.
Given you have shared with... By the way, barely anyone's aware that you're a warlock, FYI.
Yeah.
Given you have shared this, I have been given the right to share you information as well. We have one such artifact. However, it was found within our entrance of the caverns beneath the Iceshard Mountains. Powerful. Creatures of the Underdark spent quite a bit of effort trying to keep this from anyone's hand. Whatever it is, they are afraid of it. And afraid of anyone who might know how to use it. Ours is not exactly the same, but just designing and general feel of the magic is similar. And he hands it back.
Take it.
Other than
Very well
that,
then.
doesn't seem to have another arcane purpose. I'm afraid I can't help you as of yet. We are still in the process of understanding our own relic.
Suppose that's something we shall have to take up at a later date then. Thank you, Lord Drogon.
I shall be heading back to Castle Nightwind. Good luck on your appointment, Baroness. If we find anything more on the shifters, I shall inform you.
I shall ensure that you
He looks out the
likewise.
window.
And if ever I uncover anything from Lord Drogus, I shall likewise let you know as well.
Thank you, Baroness. He looks outside the window. I believe your shifters are pointing southwards. Just educated guess. They may be heading to the same destination as yourself. Your dragon skull, much like our sentry wards in Nightwind, are magical in nature. Despite the dragon being dead, its remnants, its corpses, are still of significant power, magically speaking. Perhaps the shifters had affected it. Shifters do have a tendency to disrupt the magical nature of things around them. The direction they're traveling perhaps may be the reason your decoration had been recently adjusted.
There will be a lot of things to piece together by the end of this night. Hopefully then, I'll have more answers. Thank you, Lord Argos.
I shall take my leave, Baroness. He just leaves you guys as he bows.
Okay.
You have about an hour, little less than an hour till your meeting with Baron Drogus.
I'm going to look at my siblings. Now, you mentioned refugees.
Do you need a chaperone? I had the knights take care of them, put them in a place no one else will see them. Oh, I hope they didn't put them in the dungeon. They'll be fine.
Bring them, please.
Sorry,
Will be bring them, please. I would like to interrogate them.
They're really
Interesting.
fragile, so yeah. Are you gonna take anyone with you later with your meeting? I'm gonna say this while walking away, by the way.
I will be taking all three of you with me later.
All of us.
Yes, I think it's something that you should all be there to witness as well.
Squire?
That's
So, Tanya, will not be necessary.
Did he invite? Did he say that you can bring some people?
He did say that I could. He did say that I could bring whoever I felt necessary, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You guys need to be in your best clothes. Is there a dress code you would like your siblings to follow, Baroness Giliath?
Can I wear slacks?
No eccentricities. The women shall wear proper dresses. The men shall wear proper
Bow tie?
military regalia.
Okay.
Bow tie.
So counterproductive. Goes against what I am.
do we have to
You wanna
wear
go to
white
the-
again?
We shall be presenting ourselves in front of what I understand to be a very traditional gentleman. Is that correct, DM?
Yes. The traditional
Yeah.
hard-assed with, for Ida's reference, traditional hard-ass and a son who is known as, who has the nickname, who has been called by a lot of women as Angel.
Oh.
Referencing the
I
fact
see
that
another pros.
referencing the fact that his son is known to have the face of an angel and the ruthlessness of the devil.
Another
Oh my
potential
God.
shifter.
Mhm.
Another potential
Put
shifter.
that on your list.
I'm going with
Yeah.
The face.
I am
This-
going to look at Mage and say, you think that traditionalists would appreciate a bastard following you around? I mean,
I think
I think it of.
I think he would appreciate the pragmatism, and it said he does have a son. I presume that Ida would be very interested in him. However, I would presume it would also end up being like one of those shifters, forever in your peripheral, of your reach.
They go away when you look at them. I was gonna say that while walking away.
Out of
Like,
your reach.
I'm not facing Ada's wrath. Nope.
No.
I'm just gonna correct this because my compass is
Yeah.
off. The skull points south to Azram has been moved southeast to Windwake. That's
Okay.
the exact direction. But yeah,
All right, okay.
the point stands that it has been moved from pointing to Azram to pointing to Windwake.
Okay.
And then wait, Ida also knows about the Changeling Kingdom, right?
You all do.
All right, Ida, very quickly, since we only have an hour, I need you to stop by our 3 elven guests and ask them if and try to probe them. Try and see for any indicators that the Kingdom of Hazion is aware or they even remember anything about the Changeling Kingdom or what they would think of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Can do
seems
that.
like some. Yeah, that seems like something that you would specialize in. All right.
Okay.
Other than that,
While you all get some corsets and dresses and shiny
Are they
suits
gonna
ready.
go to the, no? Or for later?
What?
The refugee?
Yeah,
Oh, the
Mage is gonna
refugees
speak to the
now.
refugees. Yeah,
Tanya will bring them here. Ida has some
interview.
discussing to do with the elves. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Got Zone of Truth for me. The
Refugees arrive.
refugees.
None of them resist. Not that any of them
Huh?
can. They are malnourished, beaten, and very, very, very tired. One of them is passed out from.
Baroness,
Looks like
the
he's about to
refugees are
pass out
here.
from exhaustion. I am.
Can I
Sorry.
guess greater restoration on them?
All of them? Sure.
Oh no, I can only guess. I don't have Ngapra. Sorry. Wrong character.
Baroness, I heard you with the Baroness. I am deeply sorry for the intrusion in your lands. We only want passage out. Or at least away to any kingdom that takes humans. We are refugees. We had escaped from the kingdom of Brigia. We have been traveling for the better part of over a year now, making our way from the lands of Brigia to the Iceshard Mountains and found ourselves here. We are tired, we are cold. Our brother is dying. Do not mean to disturb your lands or anything you are doing. We only request for safe passage out, and that is all. Outside your walls, you will never have to see us again.
Detect magic, DM, Eldritch Sight,
None of them.
nothing.
Nope.
To where, may I ask, were you planning to flee from Brigia?
I'll be honest with you, Ernest, we are not from this continent. We do not know. We only know the name of Brigia as it was mentioned repeatedly by the gods who took us. We had been prisoners for 8 months and traveling for another year and a half until we got here. Escaping a kingdom of Tabaxi is not an easy feat, as you can imagine. As humans, of course. We were looking for anywhere we might find a ship. This is the first kingdom of humans that we have encountered. We had believed we might find a ship somewhere here to take out, get back home.
And where exactly is home, stranger?
We come from the continent south of where we are now. We heard that this was Lorne. We come from south in Avrin, a city called Rain. Rain, you're aware. Rain is the sort of performance capital of the world. A place
Okay.
of bards, musicians, performers, and magic. Lots of magic.
Mm-hmm.
We come from the region in Rain, but we
And
come from a small
if I
village.
ask then,
Yes, Baroness. Mage? Can't
of
hear.
people hailing from a region of merriment and music. Hello?
Yep. I think you're lagging a bit, but yeah. Go on.
Oh, okay. Might I ask then how gentlemen such as yourselves found yourself this far north and ended up in Phrygia, of all places?
We were on the ship. We come from Storford in the Rain region. It's a small community, mostly gnomes and a port city. We were on our way to Gallia to perform. On our way there, we were attacked. Pirates. We were captured and brought back to Phrygia. The pirates were seemingly hired. As of now, we are not yet aware of the reason for our capture. We presume it was mostly. This guy looks at the girl, the young girl, and she just goes, Marinus, you see, me and my siblings are, they called us oracles, seers, or the such. We have this ability to be protected from people trying to peer into us or be able to see us. At the same time, we have an uncontrolled ability to see future events in fragments and pieces. It's not something we can control, and it's not something that we know how to use willingly. But I think it's the reason we were captured and experimented on, trying to see if they could figure out how to use it. Unfortunately, we don't know to what end. We were brought here by our visions of roads and paths, and eventually it led us here. That's as much as I know. I'm sorry.
They're on their zone of truth, right, from Tristan?
Yes, and Tristan knows that they failed, so they don't. They can't resist.
I'm just going to stick out my hand to the child.
Okay.
Kind of rest it on her temple. So I'm doing this while like all of my siblings are here, right?
More or less, yeah. Except Ida.
Yeah, and then
Except Ida.
right, Ida. And then I tell her, I want you. Wait, how many are they? Three?
Three. Two guys. One, the eldest one looks like he's just ready to pass out, but he's being helped to stand by the other guy. And then there's this young woman.
I'll give him snacks from Mage's room.
Okay.
The bowl of grapes.
I'm going to command all of them to sit.
Yeah, they get the closest chairs.
This may be uncomfortable, but I want the three of you to try and remember everything about your past 8 or 9 months here, okay?
Just a quick one. I do have a greater restoration, the one that is about to pass out. I'm gonna cast it using my beads.
Okay. It does remove the exhaustion.
You need, on a meta, you need to find a better term for those things. You can't just keep on.
Except for my
you can't
beads.
keep calling them
Using
beads.
my beads.
You need something.
Yeah.
My rosary. Just call it your rosary.
It
man.
removes
Just
the
call it
exhaustion,
rosary.
so the only thing
Yeah.
left are his sort of injuries. But
Okay.
thank you, sir. And he tries to sit up.
If you're willing to cooperate, I am more than willing to have my squires give you a bit of water and food before we send you along our way. I would only ask that you indulge a lady and try and recall everything that you've gone through in the past 8 to 9 months.
Well, we were captured.
Wait,
Doctor.
you don't need to speak. It's fine. And then DM, I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts on all three of them.
Okay.
It says certain creatures.
Yep. I think it's targeted to one specifically. Give me one second to check that. It's fine though, whoever you target, and you can read the thoughts of certain creatures. Yada yada yada.
On any one creature, okay. Youngest one.
Youngest one. All right. She
The one who looks like she's the most. Because like, am I like correct? She looks like she's the most lucid, right? Like
Yes.
she looks like she's the most in One Piece. Yeah.
you read into the mind. She closes her eyes and her mind just there is something in her mind that is preventing your ability to read. It's blocking, but she is not doing it. You can feel that she is not doing it intentionally. There is something about her that prevents you from peering through.
Mm-hmm.
You can't.
So
read
nothing,
her.
as in zero.
You can't read her. It prevents you from peering through her mind. And she did mention earlier that forms of detecting and divination they are passively immune to, as their nature.
It was worth an attempt. All right then. Before you go, I would like you to meet Sir Marcus Bain and his associate archivists.
Baroness, we
I
are
would like,
more than willing to tell you what's happened if you require it.
yeah.
Um,
However, I will be off somewhere, so I would be deferring to the talents of my head archivist. I would like for you to tell him in great detail everything about your past 8 months here, and you will be sent along your way after that.
Of course. The knights will escort them out to Lord Bane. Ida, the elves, as you visit them in the garden as they're preparing. Lady Ida, how may we be of assistance to you?
Got some. Do you three? I was doing research, and apparently elves. You
You
I think she froze.
It's so
And-
black on my side.
and she's gone.
There you go. She'll be back in a bit.
And she's gone.
Here you go. There she is. And she's back.
sorry, I got lag. I'm sorry. Oh, where?
What do you ask?
Okay. I was going to ask this. What are the relations between elves and changelings, and are you aware about the changeling kingdom? I mean,
You were
I
supposed
had-
to ask that in a less conspicuous manner, but all right.
I have to ask them directly about this time.
Okay, so they just look at you and say, we don't know of any changelings, and we're not aware of any kingdom. And don't know what to tell you, Lady Eden. Azion has never been aware of any changelings.
I was doing research, and apparently elves before used changeling technology. Was wondering if
And we found technology in Hazion when we left. When we left the High Elf Kingdom, we found an uninhabited land. No one was there. We made a home there. We found some items that allowed us to farm and
No, they
create
don't know.
produce, and we used them. And I don't know if they're changeling in nature, but they were there, and we used them.
I see. I just thought that elves and changelings made contact with each other, and they began sharing some secrets about their technology and magic. Thank you
We
for
don't know anything about
this
the changeling.
information.
Because
I see. Thank you for sharing me about this.
as you report this to Mage, You are all just about ready to go and teleport to Castle Windwake.
I hope you're all
Can I
properly
wear
dressed.
a dress that can be?
I'm not going to wear a hat, but instead I'm going to put a ribbon on my hair.
There's a large pink ribbon on top of Edith's head, or black ribbon, whatever edgy kind
My
of
dear,
dress she
I
likes.
mean,
my dear,
no, I don't think I'm going to use it. I don't think I'm going to use a black ribbon because I might look like a widow. If
my dearest
That's
sister,
true.
are you actively making an attempt to die a virgin?
fine, I'm going to use a smaller ribbon.
Yeah. I'm just
Tanya?
wearing the
Yeah.
military regalia that we have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Can
Yes.
I wear something that's like beige, but it's the type of dress that can be, the dress part itself can be ripped off, and there's like I'm wearing pants underneath.
Ripped
easy.
off.
That's
Yeah,
easy.
Tanya,
I had
you're
a
a
dress
bit
like that before. I have a dress like
Tanya,
that. You can rip off
Tanya,
the long skirt.
Tanya, these sound like stripper pants.
No,
This
no.
is a business meeting. We're not.
That is
We're
true,
not.
but no. My intention is that if I need to move quickly, I will remove the. Oh my god!
But
That
why
sounded
do
wrong. That's
She's getting ready.
but why do you have it in real life
It
though?
does sound wrong.
Why do you
Well,
have it
I
in
have a
real
dress
life
like that.
though?
Because
Oh,
it's a prom dress. Like I didn't
Oh.
Stripper
want to
dress?
wear a long dress, so I was going to remove it, and I have a cocktail dress underneath. But
Yeah, you
somehow,
can.
somehow Tanya, that made it worse. I now have more questions than before
you
you.
don't know. You don't know I had a dress like that. It doesn't show. That's the point. It's hiding my pants underneath. God damn it!
Someone had to have had it made. And in order for it to be made,
I
someone must
did.
have paid for it.
I did.
Yeah, to a tailor. In
They don't need to
Dragonsgrave.
know about. I could just use someone else's face while I have it made.
Anyway, dress. Yeah, battle dress.
Mhm.
The corset can act as leather
Stripper
armor.
dress.
Battle stripper dress. Yes, that is what Mage is calling it from here on out. You made dresses, but you made dresses a harlot as a
made
woman of the
dresses.
street.
You may dress as Stripperella
You
now.
don't know that.
Yeah, stripperella.
No one knows about my dress.
Very interesting. Very interesting disguise, changeling. I wonder why it seems you even seem to have a costume prepared for it.
You
I'm
can
gonna, like,
disguise
throw
anything
kick.
you wanted. You
I'm gonna kick Mage in the back of her shin. Just like, stop. This is a very functional.
Ida, do you have the teleport
gonna stop.
spell? Teleportation circle specifically.
Yeah.
Okay. Assuming that it's prepared, you can activate the circle without spending a spell slot. Teleportation circle is activated. Mage gives you the runes, the barons, and where, as you are given that sensation of being pulled rapidly and stopped. You are in a room made of pearl and marble and some pearls, with columns, kind of Greco-Roman like columns surrounding it. A smooth marble floor where the teleportation circle's sigil has been made. 2 guards waiting by the large iron doors, waiting for you to arrive. One of the guards goes up to you, takes off his helmet, puts it to the side. He just looks at you and says, the man stands 6'4", maybe 6'5". Long blonde hair that's been kind of kept to the side as a formality. Carries a long sword, handsome face built like a Greek god. Piercing, icy blue eyes, and a bit of a scar that goes down here to his right cheek. He holds his helmet to the side as he takes it off. Good evening. My name is Gallius Vandrel, Lord Commander of the Vandrel Barony, and your guide for the evening. Please, if you will follow me to the chambers where you will speak with my father. Baroness, I suppose this is your security? Actually, this is your family.
In a manner of speaking,
Is
yes, they are. They are siblings, yes.
Is this your
Ida, I
Lord
believe you
Commander?
need some tissue.
Tanya's just going to cover her mouth like hide it.
Wow.
He looks at
Either-
Tristan. Extends a hand. You are the Lord Commander, yes?
Yes.
Young and have a reputation behind you. Respectable. Nods.
This is my younger brother, yes. I'm just going to interject. And these are my two siblings. And these are my two sisters, Lady Ada and Lady Tanya. Either your
Kids,
roof
yeah.
has a leak, either your roof has a leak, or Lady Ada does. Don't mind me,
I'm
Sir
going to tug
Lord
on
Gallius.
Mage's
Proceed.
shirt.
Mage.
He just looks unfazed and he says, I see. He bows at both of you. Welcome to Castle
Curtsy.
Windwake. He just puts his,
Use
hel-
your
just puts his helmet back on.
Ah.
You will
Not a
find
lady,
yourself safe.
So
The
I'm
Vandrel
going to
family.
whisper it. Mage. I was going to make a good impression, but what are you doing?
You've made a
Tanya's
very
just
good
shaking while trying to hold her laughter.
made a very good impression, dearest sister. A very moist one as well. Continue.
Lord,
I'm gonna hide behind Tristan. I'm gonna hide behind
the Lord Commander puts his helmet back on.
just trying
Um,
to knit
His
love.
hand says, if
hiding behind Tristan.
you will follow me, Baroness and your family, I shall direct you to the meeting room, where a feast has been prepared in all of your honors.
He's Lord Gallius.
He moves. He dismisses the other knights as he moves forward. When you exit the room, you find arches, various arches that kind of cover this balcony-like area. And you quickly realize that you are elevated. You're not in underground like your circle is. Theirs is a little above ground. As you travel forward, you see these various arches, and the building is in a U shape. So you're kind of traveling from one end, going to the center of the U where he enters through a door. From that U shape in the center, you find a beautiful looking frost garden. Not the city, but a frozen garden. It's just kind of there. Their fountain seems to be working regardless of the frigid cold weather. So there's still water kind of appearing there. As you kind of travel forth and keep moving your way down, you find a beautiful kind of marble and lime building that you're standing in. The architecture is impeccable and very, very classic. This is an older style of making buildings. Older and much more sturdy, but takes up more space. It's a kind of building that has more foundational kind of groundwork to ensure that it doesn't fall apart from various earthquakes and other kinds of disasters. He takes you inside from the center of the U. There's this large red door that he takes you inside, and from there you find a banquet kind of table with the aging near 60s Baron Drogus Vandrel sitting from the one end of the table, and there are chairs prepared with food for each of you. It seems he was expecting a few more people, but nevertheless, each of you have a seat, as Gallius just stands next to his father with his helmet on the side. And Baron Drogus, this old man, looking very good for his age, just kind of stands up and bows to you with the most respectful bow that you've received in a while. With that doesn't seem to have a hint of sarcasm to it as he bows and says, Baroness Mage Giliath, and the son just says, family. Please, have a seat.
Lord Drogus, well met. Your
Mm.
reputation precedes you, and I'm just going to curtsy back at him before I take my own seat.
So, Baroness, I will not lie. Please, I do not mind a conversation over a meal, but I will not lie. I was rather shocked that you had requested to see me. Even more shocked about your proposition for business together. Would you care to expound more on this as you guys have a meal?
Of course, Lord Drogus. it I'm sure it is no I am sure it is no secret that both of our kingdoms have something of of a wine business to them. I wanted to ask I wanted perhaps to ask first how business was going. I I I believe that your principality's vineyards is managed by one of the wealthier families in your estate, is it not?
Yes, it is. However, wine is not wine is not exactly fruitful these days. The cheaper kind. Your family's wine has always been top notch. The nobles of Azram, regardless of how anyone sees you, still purchase it. Quite delicious. But the wine that this family offers under my barony is for the less fortunate, those who cannot afford such luxuries. Even so, the production of such is taking a toll with the colder winters that have been arriving.
On a meta level DM, how are our own vines doing? Better than theirs?
Yeah, your father left behind this sort of secret on how to create them. It has a bit of magic to them, but no one knows that.
But no one knows yet. So that means like even my serfs
No,
managing the vineyard aren't aware of it.
nope.
So parang it's just in
You're
so
not
it's just inherent in the vines.
you're not aware of it either, actually. You don't know what your father did, but the lands that
Okay.
you farmed the vine in, they've been lively since your father did something someday, at some point.
Would like and then on the meta level DM, I would imagine then that he's older and shrewder and actually has like a merchant family to handle it, presumably that they're much better at commerce and industry. And however we're managing
was.
our own, right?
He was a mercenary, so yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Lord Jogus, actually that's what I wanted to talk to you about. You see, my father, our father rather, also left behind a sizable estate. I'm sure I am sure it's no secret that the vines that grow there are excellent, and the wine resulting from it as well. I was wondering perhaps if you would be interested in a joint partnership with regard to my family's vineyard.
I do not handle such matters of commerce and business. However, I am not opposed to the proposition of opening up negotiations with the family that owns the small vineyard within my territory. What kind of partnership did you have in mind?
It's no secret in the kingdom, Lord Jogus, that this merchant family of yours is much more versed in technology, the method, the process that comes with managing these plants. I was wondering perhaps if we could perhaps if I could perhaps sell you some shares, as it were, for a co-partnership. Um, your merchant family would, as it were, manage our own estate for us. Presumably, that's going to allow me to free up some of the costs that my own family currently carries for the estate at the moment. And we're certainly not experts in winemaking. However, this merchant of family of yours is. If they would be willing to manage these as it were superior vineyards, they would of course be at liberty to sell them, perhaps under a licensed brand of bottle. Of course, you, as the leading baron to this merchant family, will also gain something in the way of tax from it, from the additional sales. I'm also sure as well that even though I would be sharing the profits with our barony, should that you agree.
Make a persuasion check. Sorry, I can't hear you, Mage. I didn't hear that last
Persuasion check.
Yeah.
And hello.
No.
I was just. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I was just saying that and even though if you accepted the offer, I would be sharing profits with your barony and the merchant family. If the growth of profits is exponential, I would be making more money in the absolute value anyway, right? At least initially. So parang on a meta level, I would basically be a capital investor, right?
You'd be effectively the owner, but not the guy running it. That sort of thing.
So persuasion, right?
Yep.
Persuasion. Let me open my app. There you go. 19.
Okay. He looks and just. This is agreeable to me. I would allow for such business to occur under my barony. I would allow you to negotiate with the family. Perhaps on another date as they return. 4 nights from now, I shall summon them to my keep where you may speak with them.
Well then, at a later date perhaps. Sure.
You need not worry about sharing the profits with me personally. I tax the family, that is all I require of my citizens, that is the law, and that is what is followed. Whatever negotiations between you two as businessmen, I leave to you. Baroness, I would assume that you did not come all this way and prepare all of this to simply ask me about wine. Was there something else that you wish to discuss?
I'm just going to look up at the ceiling. May just kind of like curling her hair a bit. She's like, actually, initially, yes. That is pretty much all. But of course, as I understand, and of course, meaning no offense, you are quite a traditional man, and I wish to honor the customs of the land as such before attempting to engage in commerce with any of your constituents. I'm sure you can appreciate that.
Of course, the respect is well noted.
Yes. Of course. However, since you brought it up, I'm just going to take a sip of like wine before mentioning it. Of course, I don't mean to insinuate anything, but I thought I'd tell you a little story. As of today, there have been some strange sightings around my keep. I was wondering perhaps if you were experiencing any sort of similar phenomena here.
It would depend highly on what phenomena you speak of, Baroness.
Very well done, Lord Jogas. I pull no punches, and I intend no deception or to insinuate or accuse a man in his own house of anything here. So we have been seeing shifters as of late. I'm not sure what your family has in the way of being familiar with the arcane, but they are sort of spectral remnants, as it were, of great magic. And I'm not sure if it should alarm you, but a lot of them seem to be heading in the direction of this castle. We were wondering perhaps if everything here would be okay, or if there were any disturbances that you might be aware of.
He looks at Giliath, his son, who just kind of looks. The son speaks up as he moves forward and says, "If I may, Baroness,
Of course.
the shifters you speak of, would they happen to be shadowed figures out the corner of your eyes that you can't find or place in any manner?"
Anya?
I see.
Yes, my lord.
I see. Then the answer is yes. You have been experiencing the same problems. However, while you say they're heading in the direction of our castle, I've spent the last 6 or so hours mapping out a way to puzzle or see where they might be heading without seeing them. I'm sure that makes sense to you at this point. They're heading towards the direction. Well, not of our castle, but slightly outwards. Towards yours, in fact.
Hmm.
Dung dung dung.
Now, if yours problems are heading towards us, and ours are heading northward towards yours, I can only presume that they are heading to a very specific point where that meets.
On the meta level DM, where did Lord Argus say that his entries were pointing towards?
His sentries were pointing west of Nightwind. Now, Nightwind is all the way to the east. West of Nightwind, because of how far he is, he doesn't have an exact direction either. But the closest thing is Castle Windwake. However, he did make sure to kind of give you the hint that it's not an exact. Same way your dragon is not an exact like southeast. Theirs is not a west. So it does line up to you. Like his sentries are pointing that direction, but that is a very long, several hundreds of miles distance.
Right. Oh. Lord Gallius, Lord Drogus, may I speak freely?
Of course.
Our two keeps are not the only cases of shifters being reported. Actually, since my siblings here also brought up that I'm sure you're familiar with the dragon skull that we rest on top of our central tower, Dragonsgrave. It has also been.
Drogus has a big smile on his face. Yes, very aware.
It has been shifted in the apart from the phenomenon of the shifters, it has also shifted, no pun intended, in direction of your keep as well. Quite interesting.
He looks at Gallius and nods, and Gallius is it. At this point, you finished your meal. Gallius is kind of stands up and said,
Yeah.
if you would all follow me, there's something we must show you.
Mm-hmm.
Gallius and Drogus both stand up. As you all leave, there are some squires that kind of clean up the tables.
Yeah.
You see a beautiful young woman with vibrant, kind of yellow, platinum blonde hair and a regal red and blue dress just walking by.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just see her kind of. She doesn't look like hers. She looks a bit like Gallius, except more feminine, and being a woman, definitely kind
Made this type.
definitely kind of how do I say this? She does not make an effort to hide her femininity.
Okay.
She dresses as if she is 100% aware that she looks unnaturally beautiful. She's fully aware of her looks as she moves. Just nods. Gallius just nods. Sister? Gallius? He just nods at all of you as she moves forward.
Curtsying.
So,
See?
Gallius and Drogus drag you both to the rooftop of this sort of U-shaped building. At the roof, you find this strange, yeah.
When I see Tristan, I'm just gonna tug on his cape, like slightly to bow down to my height.
Okay.
I'm just gonna tell him, maybe you won't marry a hag this time. And I'm gonna discreetly point at the girl's direction.
Yeah. I'm pretty much sure Mage is just looking for an alliance with the Goliath, saving it for them.
The frost giants.
Marrying a hag though.
So
I'm
you
gonna laugh while walking
travel-
towards Mage.
travel to the top of the building, where there is this sort of large. It looks like a ballista, but there's no string or arrow loaded, and it seems to be pointing northward towards your castle.
It's like their symbol too, like Like our dragon skull, they have
Um,
that.
Well, no. Most of you are aware that the Vandrels have been dabbing a little bit in arcane artillery. Trying.
Oh.
He just presents you. I would like to present to you the research of our, well, magicians. It is not yet completed. It is rather difficult, but it was meant to be an arcane ballista. All of the punching power, none of the problems of reloading, 2 times or possibly 4 times faster than any ballista arrow. Now, this and all of our ballistas that we have mounted for test firing the other day have all decided to overnight point north. Point northwest towards your castle. Right around the same time, we've been seeing these blasted shifters, as you call them.
We can still see them, right? While we're there.
When you kind of get a sense and a basic feeling of how it works, yeah, they are kind of moving towards your castle.
We can still see them even here?
Yeah, there's still some of them here.
They're all around.
Corner of your eyes, it's just...
It's like you're just used to it by now. Oh, okay.
Like an arcane cataract.
Tanya's just annoyed. It ruins her perception.
I think that there is more to talk about regarding this. If yours is pointing our direction, ours is pointing at yours, and there's another keep pointing within the same similar direction, it stands to reason that there might be... This is Guardia speaking, by the way. It stands to reason that there might be a central point where all of them are pointing.
The plot thickens. There's not much that I can say as of the moment.
I apologize, Baroness. Gal just looks at you, but I did not catch if you mentioned it. Which other barony you were speaking with? Of course, if you don't want to say it, I understand. But out of curiosity, what I'd ask.
So on a meta level, I'm going to find like a very arcane way, a very subtle way to like hint at it. I'm going to go. Hypothetically, Lord Gallius, I wouldn't be in the business of name dropping my alliances. However, I could say that that this particular confidant of mine has a very arcane reputation, as it were. Bit of an enigma.
I see. Well, if there is any chance of everyone gathering, at least everyone aware of this is a phenomena of gathering, perhaps it would help.
It's something I would consider, yes. Of course, I would have to figure out the logistics of it. Barons, baronesses, or baron heirs of 3 of the houses of the kingdom all secretly deciding to meet might attract unwanted attention.
Gallius and Drogus look at each other. Drogus speaks up. We are no strangers to unwanted attention. But I see your concern of secrecy. Well, we shall return inside. You guys head back in. Just looks at you and says, "It has been a lovely talk with you, Baroness. Is there other business you wish to conclude while you are here within my walls?"
I'm just going to think for a bit. I shall consider how to make your proposal work. It would seem helpful. Of course, I hope you share.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we're about to end in time. And you're hanging.
Mage shows that.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. That seems to be all for now. I will, of course, consider the logistics of how I could make such a gathering happen. Phenomena like this shouldn't be ignored. I'm sure we can agree on that. See to it. And of course, there is also a matter of. I'm going to look at Anya.
Yes, Baroness.
Lord Drogus, your barony has the reputation of having some of the fiercest mercenaries in the kingdom. Just earlier today, a band of elves was spotted near the borders of Azram, going into an unidentified tomb, of which my sister here has made a rough sketch of which, Lorne. She will of course be I will of course
I'm
be
gonna
happy to
rummage
share
through my
it.
bag of holding.
Takes the room. You would
Anything?
understand, Baroness. The arcane is not our specialty, but
Right. Sorry. I'll translate it for them. It
Yeah.
means hollow grave, Lord Drogus. It's undercommon, right?
Yep.
It is in the language of undercommon, Lord Drogus. As a sign of goodwill and of friendship, I will allow you if you would be so interested, I would permit for you to send mercenaries into the Iceshard Mountains if you wish to explore this anomaly. I would not mind. I will simply instruct our patrolling lights to let your men through, and you are free to investigate as you please.
We just look at each other. Undercommon is the language of the Dark Elves. Language of the Draugar. And the language of some unsavory creatures. We would be happy to investigate and share whatever findings we have. Might we be able to make use of your circle in your keep for ease of travel, as it were?
I look at Ada. I go, sister.
Can't hear you.
Oh, we
Yes.
can't hear you. Okay. There's something I need to know. With so much traffic going in and out of our circle, would it perhaps leave any residue that anyone unwanted might be able to pick up? Is that in the manner of teleportation circles, or can we ferry all this traffic through our keep and parang it's not going to leave any arcane trace naman?
Make an Arcana check, Ida.
That's a valid question naman, right?
Yeah.
DM, diba? Yeah.
$28.
Okay. It would, but the only thing that it would leave behind is the trace that it was used. And the only people who can actually find out about that are the people within the immediate vicinity of the circle. So you'd have to be inside the keep and then within the vicinity of the circle in order to trace the fact that it's been used. And the fact that it's been used does not tell you who went there or how many or how often. It just tells you that it's been used recently, and that's it.
Okay then. Very well then, Lord Drogus. The answer to that then is yes. You may.
Very well.
Perhaps to incentivize your men. I'm not sure if it isn't the laws of your kingdom. However, since you would be within my your men would be within my realm, should they happen to find any treasures down there, as long as they're properly inventoried, then there's nothing too particularly dangerous or hazardous. Your men are free to keep any loot they find.
Very well. These are acceptable terms. Giliaths, what say you to another adventure down below the dark depths of the Iceshard caverns? It's been 6 years, Father. I'm due for another visit. Very well then. Shall prepare some men. I shall send for a message to be delivered to you, Baroness Giliath, of when we intend to descend. Whatever we find is yours. Any treasure that is of monetary value we shall keep. Any treasure of arcane natures we can discuss with you of what to do, given it is still within your territory.
Of course, Lord Jogas. More than acceptable terms.
Very well.
Thank you.
If there is nothing else, my son shall show you back to the circle that you may make your way home before dark.
You have been a very kind and gracious host, Lord Jogas. Perhaps someday we may also show you the, however modest, hospitality of our own keep as well.
Any keep that belongs to a family slaying a dragon and proud of claiming it is neither modest nor too small for one such as me to visit. I would be honored to dine in the
Thank you, Lord
halls of such a spunky family, as it were.
Lord Jogas.
There are very few barons who understand. He just looks at Tristan, who understand the honor with steel and shields.
Until we meet again, Lord Jogas.
The Giliaths just kind of puts his helmet back and says, "If you would follow me, Baroness and family." Moves forward, leads you back to the circle, and says,
I'm gonna nudge Ada. Like, very discreetly. Nudge.
I'm gonna look at her. God.
There is a knight that approaches Giliath. Lord Commander! Yes, catch your breath. What is going on? There's been a murder. One of our knights is dead. Where? Please, if you could circle that way. I have business to attend to. I apologize. Show me.
Is everything alright, Lord Gallius?
Appears there's been a murder. How? I apologize, Baroness, but the circle is just beyond that door. Please feel free to use it. The defenses have been temporarily disabled. We will speak to you again.
Thank you, Lord Jogas. Good luck.
Giliath.
Lord Gallius, right?
They
Lord
just
Gallius. Good
rush
luck.
forth, and you see a few guards in your peripheral. You kind of see a few guards as you look down. Some of the knights and paladins gather, and they're discussing over. Seems to be a corpse, except you don't see any blood. You don't see damage to the armor. Maybe his neck was snapped, but from what you can tell from the top, he just passed out. That's it.
Okay.
Do I see anything with my perception?
No, that's
Smell,
exactly what I'm
hear
telling you.
anything weird?
No. It's like he just stopped living. They just gather around. You guys are free to go to the circle. I'm
Okay.
assuming no one's
Can
staying
I,
behind. Yeah?
Before I go to the circle, I'm going to leave a handkerchief. A pink handkerchief.
Where?
Or maybe your shoe?
Yeah.
Or
To
your
wipe,
Or your
underwear?
underwear? Anything works?
wipe something out.
It's a,
Something out.
it's
Thanks,
a,
Yeah, to
Jay.
wipe something out.
you can see Baron, you can see Giliath is taking a piece of cloth and it says, "What is this strange piece of cloth? It seems to have the bit of string similar to that of a lute."
Smell it, Lord Gallius. Smell it.
A G-string.
I'm so done
Mage
with
is
you.
just like,
Okay, so you leave a handkerchief where?
I think near the circle na lang.
Okay,
Parang
drop a handkerchief there. Okay.
oops. Oopsie.
Just going to kind of
Maybe
yell
something more
like a very boyish
recognizable?
lesbian. Smell it, Giliaths. Smell it.
The Giliath crest is on it, on this handkerchief.
Okay.
Hey! Don't drag the rest of the family into
No,
this.
no.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just you.
Initials lang. Oh my god.
Bitch,
No, no,
he's just doing
has
it
the-
in Cinderella,
Initials lang
goddammit.
niya.
Stop
What
making
the-
it weird.
it has the Giliath crest, and then it says EAG.
It's like a rated 18 Cinderella.
So,
Why?
you travel back.
Let's hope he has high intelligence though.
I don't want the whole
High
kingdom thinking
investigation.
the Baroness of Giliath is a harlot. That is your handkerchief specifically, not mine.
Initials. Just have initials.
As you travel back,
Yeah.
you realize that the knight that's been dying as you enter this teleportation circle room, Tanya, the last one to enter, you catch in your perception again. He stood back up and they're restraining him. And you can hear them kind of screaming out, "What is going on? Thought he was dead." It's like, answer me. Answer me, soldier. And it looks like he's fighting back. You want to look over the ledge to see what's happening?
Absolutely, yeah, I'm looking.
You look over the
Oh,
ledge, you see
wow.
that
Stealthing.
knight that was
I
previously
am
dead.
stealthing.
Passive is enough. They're busy to notice you. You see he's punching other knights, drawing his sword and fighting them. And you see the rest of you. Are you looking at what Tanya's looking at? Because now you hear a commotion, clashing of steel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you look forward, you see the same thing Tanya sees. This guy that was previously dead just starts cutting through and slashing other knights. And you see Galiath just I tried to be civil, that is enough. And he just kind of goes for, blocks with his shield and goes for the head. The knight that died goes to his knees. And then as it falls, and the body still stands. And then you see Galiath just starts fighting back. He drops his longsword, draws his mace, and starts bashing on the armor. Bashing the knee, the elbow, trying to strike down its ability to walk. And it's still limping. What form of monstrosity is this? And you see, eventually he bashes it down as the oldest knights. Gods! Restrain this one! Get the Arcanist! I want to know what is happening to my men.
Oh shit.
As he's being dragged back.
Yeah.
Are you guys going
welcome
back?
to Horror
Dennis, leave
October.
the head behind.
Yeah, I'm looking at the head. It's the
It's rolling on its own, just kind of trying to move itself.
Can I inspect it if there's anyone? If
Oh no, they're not
everyone
leaving it
else left?
behind. They're grabbing it with the
Okay.
body.
I like how the whole Giliath family is just trying to eavesdrop from a distance. They're like, "Tangina na yun!
Mhm.
Tangina na yun!"
I'm just gonna tell Mage. Mage, I think we need to go back. What if the same thing is happening in our kingdom now? No one's there.
That is a good point. We should be heading back.
You guys head back. No guards. As you move through, you hear the same kind of commotion. Except there's no
Fuck!
clashing steel. It says, "Restrain him! Restrain him!" As you move
I'm
outside,
gonna run.
they have one knight
I'm
who's got his
ripping my
hands.
skirt. See, smart idea.
You suddenly see Tanya rip out the skirt and she's carrying these leather pants behind her.
She goes full stripper,
Yeah.
Full stripper.
She goes,
HBK music. I
You go
I
stripper.
think I'm cool. I know I'm sexy. I got the look. HBK, WWE.
Oh my
God damn it!
Are they
Sexy boy.
restraining it successfully?
yes, the guy's restrained, doesn't seem to have been killed. You see Jonas leading the men. Restrain him, take out his armor, all his weapons. He just looks at the guy. Says,
Strip him!
Gonna
Strip.
approach Jonas.
"What on earth?"
Jonas,
Commander,
Jonas, we just saw something similar like that.
You
Head
don't-
had been cut off, feet had been cut off, and it's still alive.
we don't.
Yeah.
We don't know what's happening. We didn't want to hurt him. He
too.
was still one of us soldiers.
Still alive, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it's still
didn't
alive.
try to kill him. They just tried to restrain him. I
Yeah,
didn't
Siblings,
know.
siblings. This is an emergency. Jonas can restrain this one alone. Kaya niya. Like he's strong enough to do that.
Yeah,
No, they've
they've got knights. He's already restrained. The
Okay.
guy's been chained up.
Okay, don't kill that one just yet.
Yes, Vanis.
Kristen, Tanya, Ida, I need you to scour the castle. Coordinate with Lord Bane. Take account of everyone. Take an account of everyone in the castle. Make sure everyone is okay. Leave
Right.
no trace of the castle unscathed. I have business with this one, and then I'm going to walk up to the. Yep.
Investigation checks for the three of you while Mage does this.
I'll order Lucas to look as well.
Okay.
And then finally, Nigel, I get to use my second spell of the day. I'm going to look at the
Yeah.
and cast detect thoughts and try and understand.
Makes a wisdom save. Nope, he fails. You sent. You reach in with your hand. Your eyes go dark as your magic pierces through the veil of his thoughts. Deep, deep, deep within his head lies the consciousness of the man he was. Before you get to that layer, as you go through layers and layers of thoughts, his memories are there. His thoughts, his emotions. But as you move past the person he is and get through the mundane information of his life and everything, you realize that he doesn't have thoughts of his own. He has those memories that are locked away on the side of his head, and through those layers, what you find is an entity. A strange blue and black kind of aura that surrounds a humanoid figure enshrouded in darkness. There are no thoughts of this person. They're locked away. There's only this entity that seems to be manipulating his movements and controlling his body.
So it's resisting my attempts to try and interpret it further. Ganun ba?
I need you. I was gonna get to that. I need you to make me an intelligence roll.
Hang on a moment. Intelligence roll.
Sanity check. Sanity check.
It's turned into Call of Cthulhu really quick. Intelligent.
Yep.
Right, that's on the running dude.
20. Okay.
So,
The fuck is happening to Tanya?
whoa.
Um,
Lagging.
anyway,
That happened
Yeah.
to me before.
as you look through, notice you peer through a little closer, a little harder, piercing the veil of the defense. You find you skip through all the thoughts of the person this knight once was. What you find are the thoughts of this entity. But the thoughts are not coherent in a straight kind of sentence. What you hear,
It's not linear, right?
yeah, what you hear are just fragments of words. Consume. Devour. Conquer. Right.
What language is it?
What? Primordial.
Ooh, okay.
But given its detect thoughts, you can technically understand it. And
Okay.
also, the last thing you'd hear, kind of a fixed sentence. It says, "Find me the beacon." And then from that, it just keeps repeating, "The beacon, the beacon, the beacon." And the rest of you, the rest of the people around, as you end the spell there, because you don't feel like you're getting anything else. The guy, instead of just random growls, "Beacon, beacon, so close, beacon." And he tries to stand up, but Jonas and the others just have him chained to the ground. He can't move. Beacon.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I'm going to look at Jonas.
Sir.
I'm not. I'm not sure if there's much you can still do for him, but try and take him to Celestine. See if there's anything that can be done. If not, you know what to do.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick one. I would like to check with the divine sense. What type of thing is this?
You are sensing. Can you map out for me the exact creatures that divine sense can sense?
Celestial, fiend, and undead.
None of those things.
Oh fuck! How can I detect if someone else here in Dragonsgrave has something like that too? Fuck.
It's none of those.
Look
What I mean is
around.
there are no celestials, fiends, or undeads.
Oh yeah.
Um,
No, I'm just telling Mage that how can we detect? How can we detect if there are other people who are like this around us?
what are the results of your investigation checks, real quick?
13 for me.
Minimum 17.
Ida? What was your investigation?
I got a dirty 20.
Between the three of you, you've managed to account for everyone within Dragonsgrave. And between the three of you and Lucas, who got a 30, managed to account for everyone within Dragonsgrave. So, for the meantime at least, he's the only one that seems to be afflicted. Also passively kind of telling other people if anyone else immediately report it and document who. As of right now, Jonas has taken the liberty of locking down Dragonsgrave to make sure no one can actually exit. And there are perimeter guards who are making sure that no one is going out. So anyone who tries to go out will be accounted for.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, the last thing for the night is abruptly a teleportation, not a circle, but a teleportation spell is cast in your castle. And you find Baroness Kiara and Arcanist Argos. As the knights kind of draw their blades, they recognize who it is and they just move back on their business. Kiara just
Kiara.
looks. Baroness, there's a bit of urgency that requires a personal note. And he looks at the guide Jonas is dangling. Ah, never mind, I see you're already aware. I have had one such affliction as myself.
I just came from Castle Windway, Kiara. They've also had a similar affliction.
Well, then I guess we can assume, for now at least, that Baron Vandrel has nothing to do with this. However, the shifters arising, this happening, primordials, this is quite alarming, if I say so myself. Anyway, I've come here to see for myself if you have been afflicted by the same problem. It seems you have. Perhaps we can speak in the morning, once we've gotten our kingdom sorted. You seem to have a lot on your hands. There is something happening, and I don't quite like it. Of course, I have also come here to inform you that we've used some magic to determine the precise location as to which our sentries have been pointed. They are pointing towards Castle Windwick, but they are actually pointing slightly further from it. Give or take 20 minutes on horseback. 20 or 30 minutes. But it's closer to them than it is to either of us.
They triangulate. Is that what you're telling me, Kiara?
It would appear so. Did Baron Vandrel mention anything about shifters and where they were heading?
He's been experiencing the same thing. Likewise, some of his Shaper, I don't want to give away what the Vandrels have been doing with their ballistas.
Yeah.
Some of his furniture has also been pointed northwards, towards our keep, as it were. If you mentioned they're triangulating,
There's a focal
where's
point.
Jonas? Wait, who is here with me right now? Apart from
Your siblings would have arrived right around this time.
yes, who is here with me right now?
Tristan.
Okay, Tristan. First thing tomorrow, you will you will ride out to the central point between our central keeps. Between the three of our keeps. Find out what's there. Take as many nights as you need.
It is, Baroness, it is actually closer to Ban Vandrel's keep.
Yeah, we
Perhaps
can use the teleport there. In 20 minutes.
it would be several weeks of horseback if you were going to do it by horse. If you find a way to get Vandrel to allow you to use his circle, it'll be much closer.
Very well then, Ida, Tristan, I leave that to you both. You're going to have to work with the Vandrels and get to the bottom of this. Tristan, you're going to have to take your sister because she's a wizard, and because your guys are and because she'll be in the same building as Giliaths. But seriously, she is a wizard. She'll be able to help.
Yeah. Control water. Good.
Yeah, control water.
Produce water. Create water.
You mean
Create
making-
water.
Create water. Yeah.
He's gonna kick Tristan at the back of his knee again. Like,
It's like a decanter of endless water.
And
My
then,
God.
I'm
I'm gonna
going
kick-
to look at. And then I'm going to look at Tanya. Now, Tanya, you're going to have to work with because I need both of you to ensure that this castle is on full lockdown. Everything, including the perimeter. Nothing goes in or out. Nothing moves without our family knowing. We must know everything and everyone moving in and out of our lands.
understood.
Easy information network. Kiara looks at you and says, "Well then, I shall be heading back to my home. We shall speak tomorrow. If you require assistance, I can send some arcanists here overnight to carry your banner, as it were. If you would.
Yara,
not
before
like-
you go, there is
Yes.
one last thing.
Of course.
The old man. So, like, colloquially, I mentioned the old man, referring to Drogas, right?
Mhm.
The old man inquired about the possibility of us discussing these things about the phenomena with the shifters and everything. Would you, of course, I didn't want to offend you by making a decision on your behalf, but would you be interested in perhaps meeting to discuss what's going on?
There are problems that are arising that go beyond politics. I would be amicable to a meeting. Baron
Would you be fine with a meeting here? It's far out enough.
Baron Vandrel is not a disagreeable Baron by any means. I will meet, and here is fine with me.
Thank you, Kiara.
Give me
I'll
a
s-
message as to when and where. Well,
I'll see you in the
just
morning.
Very well.
Sounded wrong, but I'll see you in the morning.
Very well.
Yeah.
Looks at the Arcanist, they prepare their teleportation, disappear. As the castle goes on lockdown, Jonas brings this restrained man to Celestine to see if anything can be done for him. Tanya, you and Lucas begin scouring the place, placing spies, and just there are very, very specific vantage points granted to you and Lucas that were meant to be able to oversee the entire keep. So these are the kind of points you always default to when you need a bird's eye view. One of you stays there, the other one rotates around, and vice versa. Spy mastery. Ida goes to prepare for tomorrow's journey, as Tristan also prepares, and Mage has more problems now than she started with. Before we end, last thing before we end, Mage.
Mhm.
As you enter your room, kind of contemplating the day's events, the snowfall stops, the candle flickers, die, and in your room is that eye that you had spoken to the previous night, just as the only light.
Hmm?
You face great power. You will be careful.
And the lights go back on. A warning of sorts has been provided to you.
You got slow for a bit there. What did it say?
Right. It said you face great power. You must be careful. And it disappeared.
Oh,
Kind of
so sweet.
not very reassuring, but it's
Aw,
a deep.
they're concerned. Oh my
Yeah,
Sugar
but
god.
daddy is concerned.
How
other
do
way
you
to
know it's
look
a
at it
daddy?
is a great old. Yeah, the only thing that worries me now as like mage and the warlock is if a great old one is telling you to be careful. That's kind of fucked up. Like, I'm just like, oh,
In
there.
more ways than one, really. More ways than one.
So,
Good.
with that,
Ah,
yeah.
damn it! It made an appearance. I should have asked it how I could seduce Kiara. If it could
You
help
can't
me
even
there.
figure that out yourself. You have to ask a god for it.
With that,
Can I recall it? Can I like
no.
cry back like?
Why? Why are you guys so bad at flirting? Why?
He's just gonna say,
Wait.
did I not give you a spell for that?
Oh my god, that's cheating. Using a spell
Great
for
old
flirting
one.
is cheating.
Great,
Are you guys
I
great old
think
one.
it was called Charm Person.
Great old one. All due
Oh my.
respect, great old one. There has to be a more tactful way for me to get the things out.
You're asking an
For
old
these
one
people.
for tact.
Yeah, there's a kissing potion, by the way. There's a kissing potion that
Yeah,
exists
there's
in
a
this
kissing
world.
potion.
So,
asking an old one for dating?
I think we
As-
brought one.
as
Gonzalo.
Yeah.
Ano?
Everything, though.
as you are gathered here contemplating the day's events, we're gonna call that an evening. So, hey, looks like the stream actually worked. Still up.
Oh, it did?
Yep. Good night, everyone watching.
Good
All
night.
Good night.
20-ish people.
Night.
And
DM.
yeah,
I think I just checked my notes. I remember I still have an appointment with the Guild of Warfare, right? I was supposed to offer them a deal with the Mithril. So that's for the next session on Wednesday.
you do. And that's supposed to be that's another day from now. This was kind of
All right, then,
sequential.
sige.
So it is the next
All right,
day,
all right,
however,
okay.
how you handle the lockdown is up to you. So, good night, everyone.
Ano?
And
Look at us on lockdown in game and in meta.
yeah. See ya.
This bad.
Yeah, bye.